to you live from the Chrysler Center in Ann Arbor for a top 10 matchup against the Michigan State Spartans and your Michigan Wolverines. I am James Meninga. I am joined by Luka Nowitzki. We are here live on the call for WCBN. Luka, these teams played once already this season in East Lansing. The Wolverines getting the better of the Spartans, stopping a 4-game skid. What did you see in that game that led the Wolverines to victory, and how can they hope to repeat it here today?
Yeah, January 30th, that was a big game between the Wolverines and the Spartans. Michigan coming out on top 83-71. What we really saw in that game is the stars shining. For Michigan, Yaxel Lendeboer, 26 points and 12 rebounds. That was a huge game from him, getting 13 points at the free throw line as well. But over on the Michigan State side, Jeremy Fears, their superstar, getting 31 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. A huge game for him as well. I think what really was the issue for Michigan State in that game was a lot of their role players not stepping up. For example, Jackson Kohler, 4 for 13 from the floor, only 2 for 7 from the three-point line. That's just not good enough. That's nowhere close to what he typically does in his season averages. He's usually about a 50% shooter from the floor and a 40% shooter from three, so he's going to need to step up in this game for sure. We also saw some players for Michigan State not really be much really big factors in that game. Kurt Tang, no points in that game. Cam Ward for Michigan State, no points as well. So if they're going to want to come out with a win, those types of players need to be able to step up. You're going to get a good game out of Jeremy Fears. There's almost no doubt about that. Same thing from Yaxel Lendeboer on the other side for Michigan. But for either of these teams, if they want to come out of this one with a win to close out the regular season, it's going to need to be those other players that step up in big spots and make big plays for their team.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams having some of the best depth in the Big Ten. Looking to see some of those bench players shine today. The Michigan Wolverines are the Big Ten regular season champions. This is the regular season finale. Still a ton to play for here. Michigan, currently number 3 in the country, assumed to have locked up a number 1 seed, but there is a worst-case nightmare scenario where the Wolverines drop this game and have an untimely exit in the Big Ten tournament. And then with the high performances from teams next to them, like UConn, Florida, they could potentially lose the number 1 seed. Similar story for Michigan State. Currently looking at a number 2, number 3 seed. Kind of need this game for Sparty if they want to secure a number 2 seed. So still a ton to play here in the regular season finale for both teams.
Absolutely, and both of these teams are in really good positions to make a deep run in the tournament. This is the time where it's time to play your best. It's March, and these teams are going to want to get a win here to carry some momentum into the Big Ten tournament and into March Madness later on this month. Michigan State also kind of playing for some seeding here in the Big Ten tournament. They're currently second in the Big Ten, but Nebraska would be able to jump them if Michigan State were to lose here tonight and Nebraska gets a win. So this is big for the Spartans, but I think it's big for the Wolverines as well. Like, there's been a lot of talk about, hey, like, it technically doesn't mean anything for Michigan. They're probably, they're going to be the 1 seed in the Big Ten tournament regardless and everything to play for there. But it's a rivalry. It's a top 10 matchup. We saw these two teams face off earlier this season. It was a big game. It was chippy. There was controversy surrounding it, as there usually is in a rivalry matchup. So I don't think it really matters what there really is to play for in this game. Both of these teams are going to bring their absolute best to the floor here in Ann Arbor today, and I think we're going to be in for a treat with this one.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I don't think this is a throwaway game for Michigan at all. They've had arguably their best regular season in program history, and they want to put an exclamation mark on that season with a win over their rival, Michigan State. The Wolverines, their lone Big Ten loss this year came on this floor against Wisconsin a couple months ago. Outside of that, they've been perfect in Big Ten play, their only other blemish being a neutral site game against Duke. They are the first team since the 70s to go undefeated on the road in Big Ten play. And they picked up that historic win against Iowa in kind of a nail-biter on Thursday night. Michigan State was celebrating their senior night against Rutgers. They also kind of had a bit of a scare after being up 14 with just over a minute left. Rutgers managed to pull within three or 4 points.
Yeah, that was an interesting game for Michigan State because, like you said, they were up quite a bit in the final stretches of that game. Coach Izzo brought in some of the seniors off the bench to get their last hurrah on the floor at the Breslin Center, and Rutgers kind of took that opportunity to bring it close. But Michigan State has really had a really nice season so far. They're on a 5-game win streak, and they've kind of got everything going for them as well. So this is a big spot for them to avenge that loss that they had earlier to the Wolverines and really come out on top and get some momentum like we were talking about going into the rest of this month. One thing about Michigan, you mentioned having arguably the best regular season in program history. They've set the program record for wins in the Big Ten. Their previous was 16. They're already at 18. They've also tied the Big Ten record for most conference wins in a season, and they tied Indiana, who was 18-0 in 1975 and 1976. So they have an opportunity today to make history and become the all-time leader for a single season of winning games in the Big Ten. This is a huge spot for the Wolverines, and they are not going to back down as we are getting really close to tip-off here at the Chrysler Center.
Absolutely, as that counter winds down to less than 40 seconds. Your starters for the Michigan Wolverines are as they have been for most of the year. Elliot Cadeau, Namari Burnett, Morris Johnson Jr., Liaxel Lenneborg, and Adai Mara. On the opposite end of the floor is the Michigan State starting lineup. They've been a little less consistent with their starting lineup. They've had a core 4, and their 5th guy is switched out time and time again. Starting for the Michigan State Spartans is Jeremy Fears Jr., Jackson Kohler, Jordan Scott, Cohen Carr, and Carson Cooper. Jordan Scott, the notable name there, one of those rotational pieces that you talked about. He's been known to shoot the ball well at times, but going to need a big game out of him if Michigan State wants to stay competitive in this one.
Yeah, and like you said, he stepped into a starting role after an injury to their starter before, who was Divine Ugochukwu. He's out for the season with a foot injury, so Jordan Scott has kind of stepped into that role. He started the last 8 games for the Spartans, but he's only averaging 5.7 points in his last 3 games. The 6 games before that, double digits at 11.5. So this is going to be a big game for him to step up, get back to what he's used to producing for the Spartans, and play a big role in this one with that starting role.
Yeah, absolutely. As player introductions are happening here in the Chrysler Center, and we have a very lively crowd. It's the maize out for Michigan, and they are letting the Michigan State starters hear it early as they are introduced.
One thing that we don't want to forget as well here today is it's senior day. This is a big, great group of seniors for the Wolverines. A lot of guys who've kind of transferred into the program and been welcomed in with open arms, but also a guy like Will Cheddar, who's been here for so long and is the heartbeat of this team. You've got Yaxel Lendeborg, the big star of this team. He's a senior here tonight. You've also got Charlie May, of course, Dusty May's son. Roddy Gale Jr., who's played a huge role, especially down the stretch. We saw him make some big defensive plays in the Iowa game. And we also have Namari Burnett, who has been an absolute huge player for the Wolverines in a lot of spots in the past couple of years after transferring from Texas Tech and Alabama. So a great group of seniors here today as well that are being honored, and there's a ceremony post-game for them, so hoping to get a win and be able to celebrate that senior day after the game with a final win in the regular season.
Yeah, like you said, post-game there will be a senior day celebration as well as a Big Ten regular season championship celebration on this historic Chrysler Arena floor. As we are close to tip-off here, Michigan players still, introductions are starting. Lights are out and the crowd is loving it as we are 3 to 4 minutes away from tip here in Chrysler Arena.
I want to talk about one player for Michigan that I think really needs to play a great game for the Wolverines to get a win, and that's Elliot Cadeau. One big storyline down the stretch for Michigan has been LJ Cason's injury. Obviously tore his ACL against Illinois, so that backup point guard role is kind of open. What that means is you're going to have some bench players who really need to step up, guys like Trey McKinney and Roddy Gale Jr., who have been pretty solid all season. But Elliot Cadeau is going to need to take that role because whenever he's kind of had an off day, LJ Cason was able to step up. Now you don't really have that guy that can step up in his absence, so Elliot Cadeau's going to really need to play his best here. And that's what he did against Michigan State in their last matchup. He had 17 points and 6 assists, as well as 5 for 8 from the field and 3 for 5 from beyond the three-point line. So he's going to be a crucial piece for the Wolverines. He's the guy that kind of sets the table, gets everything ready, feeds the other players that can really make a huge impact, but he himself can make a huge impact as well shooting the ball. So I think it's really important, especially in kind of the opening 4 minutes of this game, for him to start out strong, limit turnovers, because that's been an issue we've seen with Michigan a little bit. When games are kind of close, it's usually because they're turning the ball over and making mental errors. So if Elliot Cadeau can kind of keep the game calm, keep it under control, feed the playmakers, and make some plays himself, Michigan's going to be in a really good position to win this game.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. Michigan has been sort of living and dying by Elliot Cadeau, especially with the L.J. Kaysen injury. They need to rely on him a lot. You saw in the Duke game, he really struggled. Couldn't really get the scoring going, and struggled with turnovers. So I agree with you. Elliot Cadeau is going to be a huge piece of this game for the Wolverines.
Michigan in the throwback uniforms. Love to see it here in maize with the maize out. Michigan State wearing their traditional green uniforms. This is an A+ uniform matchup right here we've got on the court.
Absolutely. Always love the maize versus green, the color rush for these two teams. Michigan has lost the last 2 games to Michigan State at Chrysler Center. Looking to buck that trend as they did earlier this year at the Breslin Center, as we are moments away from tip. The starters are on the floor. Carson Cooper will tip for the Michigan State Spartans, and Adai Mara will tip for your Wolverines.
Both wearing number 15 at center court. We are ready to go from Ann Arbor.
Tip is up and controlled by Michigan. Elliot Cadeau has it, and we are officially underway. He's working against Fears. Cadeau gives it up to Namari Burnett. To Morris Johnson in the corner. Back to Cadeau. Pulls a deep three right wing. Air balls rebounded by Yaxel Lindenborg, but he jumped out of bounds trying to save it. That will be an erroneous first possession for Michigan, and Michigan State will now control the basketball. 19:40 to play, zeros on the scoreboard. Jeremy Fierce works against Elliot Cadeau. Fierce over to Jordan Scott. Jordan Scott pump fakes back to Carson Cooper, left elbow, who takes a floater. And as he misses short, rebounded by Normari Burnett. Michigan controls the basketball off to Normari Burnett in the same spot where he shot. To Adai Mara, working against Carson Cooper, looking to give the ball up. Axel Lendenborg against Carson Konkar. Elliot Cadeau now. Less than 10 seconds on the shot clock. Elliot Cadeau working against Fears, going to the lane. Dribbles, kicks it out, back to Normari Burnett. Normari will dribble in, throw it up, and it will be blocked by Jordan Scott. Michigan State will control the basketball. Lob to Carson Cooper. Jeremy Fears, so good at that. And Sparty is on the board first, 2-0, 18:45 in the first half. Morris Johnson now, Daimara. Axel Lendenborg working against Cohen Carr. The left hand. Picks up Morris Johnson Jr. in the paint. Down low to Daimara, working against Carson Cooper. Going to throw up a layup, and it's going to rim out. Rebounded by Michigan, though. Michigan with a second chance here. 2-0 Michigan State. Elliot Cadeau gets that ball tipped by Jeremy Fierce, controls it. Goes into the lane, and layup is no good. Tipped around by Adai Mara, and Michigan State comes down with it. Cohen Carr got the rebound. 18 minutes here in the first half. Jeremy Fierce out to Jackson Kohler, back to Jeremy Fierce, who pulls one on the left side. Got it. Three-pointer, Jeremy Fierce, 5-0 Michigan State early here in Chrysler.
Michigan needs this offensive possession here, down 5-0 already.
Amari Burnett works down low, throws it up off the glass, and that does not fall. Rebounded Michigan State. Still 5-0 Michigan State. Michigan not really able to get anything going. Carson Cooper to Cohen Carr, who takes a floater, doesn't shoot all that much. That one is indicative of why. Long and off the back rim, rebound Michigan. Axel Lenneborg, the corner, no good. That was Morez Johnson Jr. with the missed corner three. Michigan State controls the basketball. Cohen Carr directing traffic. Gives it up, down low to Carson Cooper, working against Mara. Carson Cooper is going to take that matchup and miss. Rebound Michigan. Less than 17 minutes here to play. Axel Lenneborg, left wing, working against good move. And airballs a layup out to Nermari Burnett in the corner, who knocks one down. Michigan is on the board with a Nermari Burnett three. 5-3 Michigan State. Down low to Carson Cooper against Mara again. Same matchup, same shots. Different result as that turnaround fadeaway falls. 7-3 Michigan State. 16:24 here to play in the first half. We're moments away from our first media stoppage. Elliot Cadeau is looking for Morez Johnson Jr. down low, and that ball is going to be a foul call on Carson Cooper as that ball flew out of bounds.
On that last possession for Michigan, I think it was really good to see a shot finally fall for Nermari Burnett there. First shot of the game from Elliot Cadeau with the air ball. Things just weren't going their way. I think now that we've seen one shot fall, it's going to be big for the Wolverines to get things going offensively.
Inbound below the basket, Elliot Cadeau to Nermari Burnett. Gives it up to Axel Lenneborg, almost lost it. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Yax to Johnson. Morez back to Yaxel. He's working down low on the left side against Jackson Kohler. He's going to turn around, throw one up, and get fouled by Jackson Kohler. That'll be two shots coming for Yaxel Lenneborg, and the second foul on this possession for Michigan State.
And that works for Michigan. You're not seeing necessarily shots fall from the floor in a lot of cases right now. On a lot of possessions, Michigan is not coming up with it. So get a foul, get yourself to the free throw line, give yourself an opportunity to make some shots and get on the board again.
Absolutely, first shot falls for Axel Lenneborg. Cuts the deficit to 3. Michigan State 7, Michigan 4. Adai Mara has left in favor of Roddy Gale Jr. Axel Lenneborg's second free throw is on the way. And he knocks that one down too. Two perfect free throws from the potential Big Ten Player of the Year. 7-5 Michigan State, 16:01 to play in the first half. Jeremy Fears controls the basketball against Elliot Cadeau. Gives it up to Jesse McCulloch. Cam Ward now, back to Fears, 18 seconds on the shot clock. Fears and Lenneborg maxed up with each other. To Cohen Carr, gives it up to McCulloch down low. McCulloch out to Fears. Fears takes a three and is off the mark. Rebounded by Michigan. Quick offense here for Michigan. Down to Axel Lenneborg to Morris Johnson Jr. down low. And Morris Johnson Jr. will draw contact, and he will shoot free throws after the first media timeout here in the Chrysler Center. The score is 7-5 Michigan State with 15:28 to play.
Well, we've seen a little bit of a slow start from the Wolverines on the offensive end of the floor. But what I've been really impressed by so far from the Wolverines is their ability to stay calm, keep taking their opportunities, and finding different ways to get things to go. Offensive rebounding, that's huge. That's how Burnett was able to score that three. And getting to the free throw line. Those are ways to score that maybe were unconventional, not necessarily your first option, but at the same time, when things aren't totally going your way, when you're airballing three-pointers and missing from them right underneath the basket, you've got to find other ways, and that's exactly what they've done. After kind of that first stretch where Michigan was unable to score for a while, that could have been an opportunity for the Spartans to really come out to a big lead early. But Michigan stayed calm, let things come as they will, and they're only 2 points down at this point. I think that's a win for Dusty May and his team after what we saw in those first couple of minutes.
Absolutely. Sort of an unsettled start for Michigan. Maybe some soothing of the nerves happening here in this huddle. only shooting 1 for 8 from the floor, 13%. Uncharacteristic for the Wolverines, but I would chalk that up to trying to find their footing in this electric atmosphere here on Senior Day in Ann Arbor.
And the thing is, too, eventually, as long as you're taking good looks, those shots are going to fall. So you just have to stay disciplined, do what you know you do best. And that is kick it out to the open man or go down low with that physicality and that size that Michigan has. If you stick to your game plan and do what Michigan's been doing all season, I mean, this is what got them to a 28-2 record, you're going to be okay. You just have to trust that that shot is going to fall and trust in yourself to make those plays. I think that's one thing, we talked about Elliot Cadeau in the pregame. He airballed that first three-pointer. That's okay. He just has to have that short memory and still be able to make plays for the Wolverines. One other big thing that I noticed so far, and this is something we've seen from Michigan for much of the season, is Yaxel Lendeborg guarding the best player regardless of position. And we're seeing him guard Jeremy Fears here one-on-one in the half court. Yaxel Lendeborg is a great defensive player, and I think what that does is it helps open up other options for Michigan defensively. You've obviously got Mara down low who can guard whichever big is down there. You've got a lot of different opportunities, and then you've got Cadeau, Burnett, McKinney, Gale who can kind of spread out and guard some other options, and those are all good defensive players for the Wolverines. So if Lendeborg can kind of keep Fears at bay, and Fears is absolutely a creator, so Lendeborg has a big chance here. He's got to limit Fears from scoring because he's such a threat there, but at the same time, everyone else has to be on alert because of Fears' ability to make plays, nation's leader in assists, and for good reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Quite the assignment for Yaxel Lendeborg. Jeremy Fears is the leading scorer and leads his team in assists, averaging 15 points and 9 assists for the Michigan State Spartans. Morris Johnson Jr. shooting first half of his free throws. First one is good. Michigan State 7, Michigan 6. It's the second half of Morris Johnson Jr.'s free throws. Daimara comes to the scorer's table. Second free throw, good.
Tie game here. Big defensive possession now for the Wolverines. If you can make a stop here and score, you take the lead, you take the momentum. That's going to be big in this one.
Absolutely. Game currently tied 7-7, 15:30 to play. Michigan State controls the basketball. Jordan Scott, Jeremy Fears, guarded by Nermari Burnett. Fears to Kohler, makes a three with Yaxel in his face, and misses. Rebound Nermari Burnett. Nermari Burnett to Yaxel Lendeborg, who controls the basketball now. Elliot Cadeau hits the floor, and the fans wanted a foul. They will get it. That's going to be Cohen Carr with a foul. Oh, excuse me, not Cohen Carr. He's not on the floor. They got Cam Ward with a push on Elliot Cadeau. That's Michigan State's fourth foul already in 5 minutes of play. 23 seconds on the shot clock. Inbound to Cadeau, back to Lendeborg, who pulls a three on the right wing and knocks it down. Yaxel Lendeborg gets his first non-free throw points of the game. 10-7 Michigan. Jeremy Fears to Jackson Kohler, who takes a three of his own, and it is short. And they're going to get a loose ball foul on Jesse McCulloch going for the rebound. And that's Sparty's fifth foul in as many minutes.
That's going to be a problem for the Spartans later in this half. Still 14:47 on the clock and already 5 team fouls. Michigan getting closer and closer to that bonus. That'll be huge if Michigan can start getting to the free throw line with the rest of this first half.
Carson Cooper comes in for Jesse McCulloch. Wolverines basketball, 14:40 to play. Elliot Cadeau against Fears. To Lendeborg on the left wing. Guarded by Kohler. Lendeborg to Mara down low, and we're going to get an offensive foul called on Adai Mara.
Mara just got a little too comfortable with his hands there, kind of pushed off the defender as he was getting the ball.
Trey McKinney comes in for Michigan Wolverines. takes out Namari Burnett. 14:30 to play in the first half. Michigan State basketball controlled by Fierce. Guarded by Elliot Cadeau. Makes his way to the left wing. And we're going to get a reach-in foul on Elliot Cadeau there. Jeremy Fierce is holding his hands up in the air, as he often does.
Michigan's going to have to stay disciplined here. We were just talking about the advantage that Michigan had in the foul category. They're going to need to be careful if they want to keep that advantage as this half progresses.
Now, are they looking at a potential extracurricular here from Jeremy Fierce at the end of that play? Elliot Cadeau seems to think he got hit after the whistle was blown. And the fans are letting Jeremy Fierce hear it. I'm not sure quite what happened.
I wasn't sure if maybe Dusty May was trying to challenge the play, but now it looks like Izzo's talking to the officials here. Now the officials will go in for a discussion.
Looks like Elliot Cadeau might have signaled that he might have gotten hit down low from Jeremy Fierce. Here's the replay.
Fierce maybe kicked that leg up a little bit.
Yeah. So Elliot Cadeau reaches in.
Oh, yeah, he
Fierce
absolutely kicked that leg up. We've seen him do that several times this season already, and the officials are going to look at that because the officials know when you have a track record of doing something, and that's something we've seen Jeremy Fierce do multiple times this season. He could be getting in trouble for this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Even Tom Izzo has addressed the problem with him, has said in post-game availability that Fierce needed to grow up, and even talked about benching him before big games like Illinois.
And there's just no place for that in the game, and we've seen him do that so many times. I mean, he did it once against Michigan, a couple times in other games this season. There's just no reason to kick your leg up in between an opponent's two legs there, and we're going to see what the officials decide to do. Sounds like a technical foul is being issued. Hard to hear the official with all the fans here at the Chrysler Center.
It looks like after review, they changed the call to a post-play illegal contact by Fierce. Flagrant one, I imagine. Technical foul has been assessed to Jeremy Fierce. He's pleading his case with the officials. Can't imagine they're all going to be all too forgiving. Axel Lennebor will shoot the free throws for the Michigan Wolverines. All 9 other players standing at half court. Axel Lennebor knocks down the first of the 2.
Fierce is still pleading his case to the official at center court.
And Axel Lennebor knocks down the second of the 2 free throws.
If you're Jeremy Fierce, you just have to know what the officials are looking for in that situation. I mean, you know that they're looking at you for that and watching you with a close eye. That's just not a basketball play, and he got.
Yeah, absolutely. And this happens time and time again to Jeremy Fierce, as the crowd is letting him know. Trey McKinney controls the ball against Kurt Tang, working his way down low. That ball is tipped out by Jordan Scott. Turnover, Michigan. Jeremy Fierce with the basketball. We're going to get to Elliot Cadeau, and he will get stripped out of bounds on Michigan State basketball. Jeremy Fierce looking for a quick score to cleanse his palate. Does not get it. Inbound to Kohler, 24 seconds on the shot clock. Back to Fierce on the left side. Working down low, back out to Kohler, who thinks about a 3. Kicks it back to Fierce down low. It goes up and it's going to get blocked. And a foul No foul. Out of bounds. No foul call. Jeremy Fears wanted one. Officials not on his side today, though. And it will be Michigan basketball.
Well, that probably should have been a foul there on Roddy Gale or even a Daimara on the baseline there. Fears just got absolutely hit to the floor there.
13:45 here to play. Michigan controls the basketball. Roddy Gale Jr. on the right wing. Gives it up to Mara up top. Mara looking to give the ball up. Hands it off to Elliot Cadeau. Cadeau guarded by Fears. To Gale. Shot clock down to 8. Roddy Gale goes into the lane and throws a layup in, and it falls. They're going to get a foul here against Michigan. Carson Cooper fell to the floor. They're going to get Adai Mara with a push on Carson Cooper. See if they're going to look at this one further too.
Wow, a technical on Mara being issued now.
So in the last 2 minutes, we've had 2 technical fouls, one by each team. Adai Mara.
Mara extended the arms there with a push to the back of Carson Cooper after that went through the basket. And it looks like they're going to take a look at it now.
And the sentiment maybe before this game was that it didn't matter, and maybe that Michigan wouldn't try all that hard. Can't imagine that's the case anymore, as the physicality has been the thesis of this game through the first 7 minutes of play. Jeremy Fears will shoot the 2 free throws for Michigan State. Roddy Gale's bucket still counts, so the score stands at 14-7 Michigan. Jeremy Fears' first free throw is good. Quiets the crowd.
Fears an 89% free throw shooter on the season, so this is exactly the guys Michigan State wants at the line, absolutely.
Second free throw is good as well. So Michigan State will control the basketball, down 14-9 with 13:23 to play in the first half. Denim Wojcik, the senior backup point guard, has checked in for Jeremy Fears. Michigan going with a little bit of a press here. Roddy Gale guarding Wojcik as he brings the ball down the court. Wojcik kind of smothered by Roddy Gale right now. Has to give it up to Jordan Scott. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Carson Cooper. Wojcik on the left wing. Wojcik gives it up to Carson Cooper down low. Adai Mara is sitting. Jordan Scott, mid-range jump shot off the mark. Carson Cooper there for the offensive rebound and the putback. 2 points for Michigan State. They trail 14-11. Elliot Cadeau now with the ball. 23 seconds on the shot clock. This is up to Roddy Gale, back to Cadeau. 15 seconds to shoot. To Namari Burnett in the corner, who pulls one. Excuse me, that was Trey McKinney. He was off the mark. 12:30 to play. Michigan State basketball. Cohen Carr to Jordan Scott. Jordan Scott on the left wing. To Carson Cooper, guarded by Morris Johnson. To Wojcik, who makes an erroneous pass to Kurteng, who's able to corral it. 10 seconds to shoot. Jordan Scott now with the basketball. Dribbles in and slithers through the lane, but that shot does not fall. Rebound Michigan. Axel Lendenborg controls it. 12 minutes here to play. And officials will call a foul on Denim Wojcik against Roddy Gale Jr., and that brings Michigan State up to their 6th team foul as we are at the under 12-minute timeout. Michigan leads Michigan State 14-11 at the Chrysler Center.
Well, we've seen some extracurriculars on both sides from these teams in this rivalry matchup, and this is going to be big as this game progresses, is who can keep their emotions in check. It's one thing to have pride in this rivalry matchup and, be amped and ready to go for this one. but you've got to keep it under control. We saw it with Jeremy Fears with the leg kick. Now we see it with Mara. We know he's an emotional player, kind of with the shove to Carson Cooper in the back. So one technical on each side here, and it's going to be super important for both of these teams to understand the situation. And we know emotions are going to run high. We've got a big crowd here at the Chrysler Center. They're loud, they're raucous. So both of these teams are going to need to understand, and this is probably what both of these coaches are preaching in the huddle right now, is calm down, play your game in between the whistles, and just do what you got to do. It's not, it's basketball plays. That's what these coaches want to see, because this is going to be a close game, I think, for much of this game, if not all the way to the end. So a technical here, a technical there could make a huge difference. A couple of free throws could be the difference in this one. So you just have to keep it under control. Don't give away 3 points to your opponent in a rivalry top 10 matchup.
Absolutely. Neither one of these teams wants to lose their cool. This is one of those rivalries that's been historic. These teams do not like each other. The last couple years, especially, though, with the introduction of Dusty May to this Michigan basketball team, this rivalry has been notably more chippy in the past few matchups. At the conclusion of the regular season last year, it was senior day in the Breslin Center. Michigan State had beaten Michigan in a big way, and during the senior day celebration at Michigan State, there was some fighting took place. Kind of the perpetrators of that fight are no longer on either teams. Trey Holloman was a big part of that for Michigan State. Point being, these teams do not like each other. I know that they're thinking about their matchups last year, their matchup earlier this year in East Lansing, and I think we're seeing that physicality and that disdain for each other on the court here so far. I imagine Coach May and Coach Izzo appreciate the passion that their players have, but are likely encouraging them to, like you said, play in between the whistles, play your game, play the right way, and avoid, like you said, giving away points for emotional reasons.
And this is something that's, I think, really cool about this rivalry as well. In this era of transfers in college basketball and guys maybe not being with one program for a very long time, you still see the passion in a game like this. Michigan State, two teams just down the road from one another. These players, even if this is their first year with the program, they really care, and they feel the passion not only from fans but also within the team. And this is why I think it's so important, especially on the Michigan side, to have a guy like Will Cheddar, to have a guy like Namari Burnett that have been here and really understand the importance of this and get the team ready for big rivalry moments. And this is just really cool to see, because I think in this kind of transfer era, sometimes you lose a little bit of that. Not in this rivalry. It is alive and well between the Wolverines and the Spartans.
Absolutely. You mentioned Will Cheddar. He just checked in for Elliot Kiddo for the first time today. Michigan State's foul on the previous possession was their 7th. So Michigan will shoot a 1-and-1. Roddy Gale. First one is up and good, so he'll get a second. Michigan leads Michigan State 15-11.
Michigan in the bonus here for the rest of the half. Still 11:57 to go. They'll be going to the free throw line with every Sparty foul.
Gale's second free throw is true. Michigan leads 16-11. Less than 12 minutes here to play in the first half. Jeremy Fears controls the basketball, guarded by Trey McKinney. Fears goes to his left, throws it to Cooper on his right. Cooper kicks it out to Konkar on the right wing, who gets it down to Jackson Kohler. Kerr Tank thinks about a right wing three. Does not. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Kerr Tank to Carson Cooper, who tries to get it down low. It's blocked, but there's going to be a foul called on Will Cheddar, negating the Michigan turnover. It's the 4th foul for the Michigan Wolverines. And Sparty shot clock will reset to 20, and they will inbound. Fears controls the basketball at the top of the key. Fears gets it down low to Carson Cooper, gets by his man, and throws down a dunk. With Mara on the bench, Carson Cooper was a mismatch there for Roddy Gale. Trey McKinney controls the basketball. Gives it up to Morris Johnson, who works against Kohler. Hands it off to Lenenborg guarded by Carr. Lenenborg to Trey McKinney. Down to Morris Johnson, 8 seconds on the shot clock. Johnson against Kohler. Goes up and misses. Rebound Michigan State, 16-13 Michigan. Fears pushing the pace here, getting down low. Picks up the basketball and gets it stolen. Trey McKinney going the other way, lays it in. Nice transition offense there for Michigan. And another official stoppage. Officials are discussing something once again. 18-13 Michigan, 10:44 to play in the first half. Not sure what the officials are discussing here.
We might be getting another dead ball foul. I'm not totally sure.
Head official looks to the monitor. Neither coach indicated anything. The officials here took it to themselves to review this.
They've just said the play is under review, not for what, so we're waiting on an announcement.
So yet another stoppage here. A lot of whistles so far in the first 9 or so minutes. 11 fouls total, 2 of them technicals, plus whatever this stoppage could be.
They seem to stop it well after the play was over for Michigan, so I'm not totally sure what they saw there, but McKinney's layup was good for, I mean, it was probably at least 5 seconds before they stopped it.
Yeah, so on the Michigan State side of the floor,
Class B technical for hitting the ball in the inbounder's hands.
so that technical foul is assessed to Michigan, and Jeremy Fears will now shoot free throws for Michigan State.
So this will be a one shot for Jeremy Fears. That was on McKinney.
Fears' free throw is up, and it is good. He is 3 for 3 from the charity stripe, and Michigan State will possess the basketball, down 18-14. That's the second technical foul assessed to Michigan in just 9 minutes of play. Jeremy Fears now controls the basketball. Drives in on the right side, takes a shot himself. Floater, it is no good. Rebounded by Michigan, Trey McKinney. With Elliot Cadeau on the bench, Trey McKinney is leading this Michigan offense. Trey McKinney to Will Cheddar on the left side. Will Cheddar will take it down to the free throw line and kick it out to McKinney on the right side, who finds Morris Johnson Jr., who is not guarded. They're going to get Morris Johnson for a walk. He beat his man, was going down low, but he walked. Turnover Michigan, Michigan State basketball. Michigan leads by 4. 10 minutes to play in the first half. Jeremy Fears with the basketball to Jackson Kohler. Carson Cooper right side. Gives up to Fears on the right wing. Directs traffic. Fears to Scott. Scott on the right wing. To Cooper down low. Cooper working against Morris Johnson. He'll turn around, fade away, and is off target. Rebound Michigan. The Axel now on the right wing will pull a 3, guarded by Jackson Kohler, and knocks it down. 21-14 Michigan. For Jackson, after the Axel Lenenborg kind of gave Jackson Kohler a heat check. 9:30 to play in the first half. Michigan State basketball. Carson Cooper looking to give it up. Down low, gives it to Fears on the right wing. Fears will take a step and jump shot, floater miss. Fans might not want her to travel there, but it was not. Roddy Gale now transition offense. Gets by Cohen Carr and lays it in, and Michigan's on a little bit of a run right now. They've made 5 of 7. 23-14 Michigan. Carson Cooper trying to get Sparty back in off the target. Jackson Kohler rebound and putback is good. Michigan State stops the bleeding. 23-16 Michigan. 8:40 to play. Jackson Lenneborg, Trey McKinney, 3 off target, rebound Michigan State. Jeremy Fears falls, and it's going to be a foul against Morris Johnson Jr. This chippiness has not coincided yet. Michigan gets their 5th foul.
A lot of physicality so far in this one, and we're seeing it come out yet again. Morris Johnson Jr. just kind of ran Jeremy Fears over as he was bringing the ball up the court.
Kerr Tang checks in, along with Denim Wojcik, who the inbound goes to. 8:30 to play, Michigan 23, Michigan State 16. Denim Wojcik to Kerr Tang. Kerr Tang gives it to Jackson Kohler down low, working against Will Cheddar. He'll back him down, he'll turn around, he'll shoot, he'll get fouled, and his shot will fall. And 1 for Jackson Kohler. Will Cheddar picks up his 2nd foul.
Will Cheddar is the guy that you're okay with him fouling and bringing physicality down low. He's not the guy that's going to play the most minutes for the Wolverines, but he comes off the bench and brings heart and passion and energy. So that's an okay foul to me. He's down low and just kind of bringing the heat for the Wolverines and let Michigan State know this is how we're going to play.
Jackson Kohler's free throw is good, and he completes a 3-point play. Lenneborg checks in. Michigan 23, Michigan State 19. 8:20 left to play in the first half. Elliot Cadeau will bring the ball down the court for the Wolverines, guarded by Wojcik. Gives it to Will Cheddar. Will Cheddar working against Kohler. He'll take it down low, and it will be taken away by Kerr Tang. Now Michigan State controls the basketball. Kohler on the left wing to Jordan Scott at the free throw line. Kerr Tang takes a long 2. That shot is no good. Rebounded by Carson Cooper. Gives it back to Tang, who throws it up, air balls. And that ball will... Officials are talking. They're going to say jump ball. They're going to say jump ball. I don't quite know how.
Yeah, I don't know that anyone had possession of the basketball, let alone someone from both teams, so I'm not...
It looked like maybe Kerr Tang's shot went up and out of bounds, and maybe they're discussing whether or not it was tipped.
It looked like it went off of Kohler,
Yeah,
I think.
Kohler smacked it out of bounds. I'm not sure if they called jump ball because they didn't know. But as it stands, the shot clock favors Michigan State, or the possession arrow, excuse me. So pending another discussion from these Wolverines, it will be Michigan State basketball after the under 8 timeout. 7:49 here to play in the Chrysler Center. Michigan leads 23-19.
Officials just said they're reviewing the out of bounds play, so they will hopefully get this one right here. Not really totally sure where they got that call from, so it sounds like it will be Michigan ball.
Yes.
Yeah, so Dusty may challenge that one. That's a good challenge for Coach May. I not entirely sure how the officials came to that conclusion, so good job there by Coach May and his staff for getting that one right. Michigan will take the ball. One thing I noticed from the Wolverines on that last possession, they were a little lazy on the glass. They allowed Carson Cooper to get an easy offensive rebound that almost kind of resulted in some extra points for Michigan State, some second chance points, and that's something Michigan's going to have to stay solid on the glass for this one. They have 13 rebounds. Michigan State has 12. These are two of the best rebounding teams in the country. Michigan 8th in the country in rebounding margin. Michigan State is 3rd in the country in rebounding margin. So these are two teams that are used to winning on the glass. They're going to need to stay ferocious and competitive on the glass, and I think they both kind of will. They'll go back and forth, but getting those rebounds on defense is going to be huge because you do not want to allow Michigan State any extra possessions and second chance points if you want to win this one. Michigan with that 4-point lead.
Absolutely. Both of these teams tough. pride themselves on their grit, and that shows its head a lot of ways in offensive and defensive rebounding. So like you said, I agree. Michigan kind of lazy on the last couple of possessions, leading to an easy Jackson Kohler extra 2 points and a potential look there.
And this is good timing for the media timeout here for the Wolverines. Just reset, and I'm sure that's what Coach May is preaching to his team in the huddle is, hey, reset. You've got this chance. Take a couple minutes, take a breather, and get ready to go back out there and do what Michigan does best, which is win the glass, win down low. And I think they'll be able to do that here, with this opportunity to reset. This is such a mental game, I think, in this rivalry matchup. So I think the constant reminder of, hey, just do your job. Do what you're used to doing and what you've been doing all season that's gotten you to 28 wins. If you can just continue to play your game, we're going to be fine. And that's what both of these coaches are saying to their teams in the huddle.
Absolutely. So the under 8-minute timeout draws to a close. Michigan possesses the basketball. 7:50 here to play. Elliot Cadeau brings the ball down the court for the Wolverines after some time on the bench. Trey McKinney possesses it. Back to Cadeau. Cadeau to Lendenborg. Lendenborg against Kohler, pulls another three, and that one is short and off the mark, and they're going to get Cohen Carr on an off-ball foul against Moore as Johnson Jr.
It looked like they were both kind of going for a rebound. They saw that the shot was off the mark. They danced around on the rim a little too long, and contact drawn on the baseline there.
Michigan in the bonus, so Morris Johnson will shoot a 1-and-1. Front end is good, and he'll get to shoot a second. Michigan 24, Michigan State 19, as Johnson's second free throw is good. Michigan extends their lead to 6 as Michigan State controls the basketball with 7:30 to play in the first half. Jeremy Fears working against Roddy Gale. Fears to Cohen Carr, right wing. Carr to Kurtang, to Kohler. Still outside of the arc to Jordan Scott. Looking for Kohler down low. Gives it up to Kurtang, who pulls a three and knocks it down. Michigan State, big three from a not a great three-point shooting team. Michigan 25, Michigan State 22. Elliot Cadeau now possesses the basketball to Lendenborg. Lendenborg to Morris Johnson. He'll start to back Kohler down, but give it up to Lendenborg. Now Lendenborg tries to back Kohler down. And he'll turn around, and he will shoot, fade away, and his bucket will good. He's so good at that. Michigan 27, Michigan State 22, 6:30 to play in the first half. Jeremy Fears with the basketball to Cohen Carr. Cohen Carr, Jordan Scott, down to, of course, to Kohler down low, who works against Morris Johnson Jr., who gets a nice bucket for the Spartans. 3-point lead, Michigan. Namari Burnett, right wing, working against Kurtang. Takes it down to the baseline, kicks it out to a wide open Roddy Gale, who is off the mark. That rebound is Michigan State. Michigan fans are upset about something. Jeremy Fears controls the basketball. Kurtang, three, got it, ties the basketball game at 27. Less than 6 minutes to play in the first half. Kurtang has made 2 in a row.
Michigan a little lazy on defense on the perimeter those last couple possessions.
Lendenborg out to Roddy Gale. Less than 15 seconds on the shot clock. Roddy Gale dribbles in down low, gives it up. Morris Johnson, long three. Oh, that's to Lendenborg, excuse me, and he knocks it down. Oh, it was Morris Johnson. He does not shoot a lot of those. Back to Jordan Scott, other end three, and is off the mark. Rebound is simultaneously possessed, and this will be an accurate jump ball call as Michigan leads the Spartans 30-27 after a Morris Johnson three. Possession favors the Spartans.
That's a better jump ball call for sure.
Michigan State has had some three-point shooting woes this season. 2 in a row for Kurt Teng. He's 2 for 2. He's one of those bench role players you talked about needing to have a big game for the Spartans to stay competitive.
Yeah, and Teng is a really good three-point shooter amidst a team that maybe isn't as good. 38% on the season for him, so kind of characteristic. If you're going to leave him open, he'll take and make them.
15 seconds on the shot clock. Ball's given up to Carson Cooper down low, and they're going to get a foul on Morez Johnson Jr. And Michigan State in the bonus as well, so Cooper will shoot a 1-and-1.
I can see where the call came from there. Morris Johnson Jr. kind of had both his hands on either side of Cooper as he was grabbing the ball, but it was not really, it was contact, but I wouldn't say it was forcible contact that really kind of altered the play. But if, they're going to call a game in that way where a little bit of contact will draw the foul, I can see exactly why they would call that on Morris Johnson.
Carson Cooper's first free throw is good. It's Michigan State within 2. Will Shetter checks in for Morez Johnson.
Johnson and Mara each with 2 fouls for Michigan, not on the floor.
Carson Cooper's second free throw has too much on it and is no good. 30-28 Michigan, 5 minutes to play in the first half. Michigan controls the basketball. Will Shetter. Lendenborg on the right wing. Brings up to the middle. 3 again. Knocks it down. The Axel Lendenborg is feeling it. He is 3 for 4 from beyond the arc. 33-28 Michigan. Fears is going to dribble in, throw the ball up in the air, and get call and draw a foul. Fans are not happy. Fears dribbled in, gets bumped.
Oh my, that.
Gets bumped and kind of has an exaggerated reaction as he falls
really
down.
Sold that one. That contact might have been actually to the ball and not to Fears. The fans are letting them hear it. Very exaggerated there by Jeremy Fears and draws the foul from the officials.
They'll call it a shooting foul and he'll shoot 2. He misses the first. So perhaps this is a situation where ball does not lie. 4:48 to play in the first half. Michigan leads 33-28, and this place is loud.
Here's an 89% free throw shooter on the year.
His second one is good. 33-29 Michigan. Fears is 4 for 5 from the stripe today. Will Shetter takes a 3 and is off the mark. Kind of just pulled up in the middle of that possession. Rebound Michigan State, controlled by Fears. Fears will go in and kick it out to Cam Ward. Cam Ward spinning reverse layup, rebounded by Michigan State. A second chance here for Michigan State after a missed Cam Ward layup. Cohen Carr will pull a 3, and it will have too much on it and be no good. Now in transition, Ramari Burnett all alone. Layup, 35-29 Michigan, 4:08 to play in the first half. Jeremy Fears coming the other way to Carson Cooper. Lob dunk for Cooper.
That's what's so dangerous about Jeremy Fears. He can create plays for his teammates.
So 2 transition buckets for either team on that possession. Now Ramari Burnett pulls up 3 at the top of the key and has too much on it. No good. Big rebound by Cohen Carr.
Michigan has to get back to their fundamentals of going down low and winning the glass.
Ball's given up to Kim Ward down low. He will work against Elliot Cadeau and throw the ball away. It's going to be out of bounds on Michigan as we enter the under 4 timeout with 3:34 to play in the first half. Michigan 35, Michigan State 31.
Those last couple of possessions for Michigan, I haven't loved. Just too many spot-up threes. That's not the identity of this team. They need to be a little bit more patient, I think, on offense, work it down low. The Axel Lendeborg, for a little bit there, looked like he was going to take this game over. He was going down low. I really liked what he was doing, just taking on the Spartan defender and, making those physical plays for Michigan. I think they need to go back to that. Even with guys like Maize Johnson and Adai Mara on the bench with a couple of fouls each, I think it's really important for Michigan to maintain that identity and continue to do what they do best, even maybe without some of your key playmakers on the floor. Michigan State has looked really good in these last couple of minutes. They're getting some open looks, and I think that may be attributed a little bit to some lazy defense by the Wolverines. They're getting some second chances. They're making some plays, but they're struggling a little bit down low. Fears has not had the best of games, only 1 for 5 from the floor so far. Michigan doing a great job with that defensive focus on Fears and kind of limiting his production, at least in terms of scoring. So things to work on, I think, on both sides, especially offensively, as they try to create more open looks for their teammates. These defenses have really been pretty stifling, though, so far in this first half.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a big thing to note with Fears is only 3 assists in this first half, which is uncharacteristically low for him. So Michigan been doing a good job stifling him so far. Michigan State, though, taking advantage of the fouls against Mara and Maize Johnson. Really taking advantage of the size that Kohler and Carson Cooper have down low with those two on the bench.
Yeah, we see Carson Cooper with 11 points, 5 for 9 from the field so far, and 5 rebounds as well. Cohen Carr with 5 rebounds, Jackson Kohler with 4. So Michigan State doing a pretty good job on the glass, especially, like you said, with those couple of players for the Wolverines who are really leading the team in rebounding on the bench. So I think this is really an opportunity, especially for Yaxel Lendeborg. We saw him make a couple of plays in a row, maybe a couple minutes ago, around 5 minutes to go in this first half. It's time for him to take this one over, take advantage of this opportunity, and make some big plays in the last 3.5 minutes of this first half for Michigan.
Absolutely. Michigan shooting the 3 ball okay, 5 for 13, less than 40%. Michigan State shooting way less shots, but hover around that same mark. Michigan State is 3 for 8 from beyond the arc.
The other thing I think that's important for Michigan, and we talked about it just a little bit ago, is the 3-point shot is great when you're open and when you're taking good looks. But I think for Michigan, we saw a couple, like with Will Cheddar and with Damari Burnett, where you're kind of just taking the 3 because that's what you got. But like, there's time on the shot clock. There's opportunities to create a better look. They need to make sure they stay patient and get a better look on offense. It's okay to take 3s and miss them as long as it's a good look. And I think that's going to be really important, is be patient on offense, take the plays that Michigan State gives you. If you're being face guarded on the 3-point line and there's not much space there, pass it to a teammate. Be patient, take advantage of what the defense gives you. Don't try to force something that's not going to go in.
Absolutely. As the under 4 minute timeout has come to a close, Michigan State inbounds the basketball with 15 seconds on the shot clock. Carson Cooper working against Will Cheddar, gives it up down low for Cohen Carr. Cohen Carr will go up with his left hand and gets that ball to fall in. Michigan State has cut the lead to 2. Elliot Kiddo to Lendeborg to Roddy Gale. Roddy Gale to Lendeborg, thought about a 3, will go down low and draw a foul. Cam Ward got a piece of it, and Lendeborg will be shooting 2.
And that's what I was just talking about there that we just saw from Lendeborg. He had an opportunity to shoot from 3, but it wasn't great. He puts the ball on the floor, drives down the baseline, gets the foul call, and goes to the line. That was a low percentage look from 3 that Lendeborg thought about taking, thinks better of it, and now gets an opportunity at the line to put some points on the board for the Wolverines.
Absolutely. Lendeborg's first free throw is good. Brings Michigan's total up to 36. Some substitutions. Cam Ward and Carson Cooper hit the bench in favor of Kerr Tang and Jackson Kohler. Lendeborg's second free throw is good. 37-33 Michigan with 3 minutes left to play in the first half. Jeremy Fears controls the basketball for the Spartans at the top of the key. He goes to his left. He gives it to Cohen Carr at the top of the key. Kurteng, right wing, puts the ball on the floor and kicks it out to Fears. Fears will pull a three and knock it down.
That's what you'll see. If you give Michigan State some space on the three-point line, they will take that shot. And Fears is a decent shooter, around 30% from three.
37-36 Michigan. Elliott Cadeau will dribble in and lose the ball out of bounds. Turnover Michigan. 2:34 to play in the first half. Michigan State trails Michigan by 1.
It's a big possession for Sparty here, only down by 1 point, 2.5 minutes left to go in this first half. Big spot as we're getting close to halftime.
2:30 left to play in the first half. Jeremy Fears directs traffic. Gives it to Kohler down low, works against the axle and puts it up, and Michigan State takes the lead at 38-37. Trey McKinney with the ball on the right wing. He'll dribble in against Cohen Carr, kick it out to Lenenborg, who hands it off to Cadeau at the top of the key. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Namari Burnett down low, goes to the baseline, throws it up and off the rim. Less than 2 minutes here to play. Jeremy Fears now pushing the pace, gives it to Kohler, wide open, top of the key. Three is good, knocks it down. Nobody was with Jackson Kohler.
You absolutely cannot leave Jackson Kohler open from the three-point line. That's a 39% three-point shooter right there. That's a big no-no for the Michigan defense. Michigan State now leads 41-37. As Michigan tries to get something going on offense here. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Elliott Cadeau to Jackson Lenenborg. Cohen Carr hits the deck for no reason. And Jackson Lenenborg goes right by him. 39-41 in favor of Sparty. 1:10 to play here. Timeout, Michigan State. Not quite sure what happened to Cohen Carr there. He hit the deck and he hit it hard. Lenenborg just crossed him up and left Cohen Carr in the dust. I mean, just a little defensive lapse there from Carr. Not really super characteristic either. Lenenborg driving to the basket, doing what he does, which is take advantage of those gaps in the defense and getting back on the board for Michigan. And I think that was a huge possession for the Wolverines because you saw Michigan State starting to get some momentum, making a couple buckets down on the perimeter and getting some open looks from three. So super important there for Jackson Lenenborg to get Michigan back within 2 with 1:10 to go in this first half and keep it close. You don't want a 3-possession gap at halftime because that, I think, creates a much different feeling in the locker room going into the second half. So that was absolutely a big offensive possession here. And now this is going to be huge on defense for the Wolverines. Adai Marr coming back in as well. So important to close this first half out, keeping it close with Sparty. Both of these teams are going to have good looks here going into halftime and feel pretty good about themselves. They've both done some good things here tonight. So we'll see who can kind of win this last minute of the first half.
Yeah, Michigan able to stop the bleeding a little bit there after Sparty made 4 of their last 4 field goals. That possession is quick with Cohen Carr getting the ball knocked out of bounds. Michigan State will still control the basketball with 1 minute remaining, 15 seconds on the shot clock as Jackson Kohler will inbound. Kohler inbounds to Fears. Fears directs traffic, not in a huge hurry. Gets a screen from Kohler. Gives us Jordan Scott. Quick 3 off the mark. Left it short. Rebound by Kurteng. Michigan State with a second chance here. Shot clock resets to 20 seconds. Jeremy Fears will take the ball in and fade away. Mid-range is no good. Rebounded by Michigan. 8 seconds separates the clock and shot clock. As Michigan is complacent to take their time here. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Lenenborg will take it to the right wing. Drive in, kick it out. 3, knocks it down. That's Nermari Burnett on senior day, knocking down a big-time bucket to take the lead. 10 seconds left in the half. Michigan State looking for something. Jeremy Fears taking himself. Kick back out. Kurteng 3, off the mark, short. Michigan ends the half up 42-41 after a big 3 by Nermari Burnett. Like you said, didn't want to go into halftime down 3 scores. They'll take 1 point up any day of the week. 42-41 Michigan at halftime on senior day at the Chrysler Center.
And we were talking about it, who would be able to win that last minute and a half of the first half, and it was Michigan. They did a great job there of being disciplined on defense. We saw Michigan State, I think it was Jordan Scott, take a three-pointer, but it wasn't that great of a look. Michigan has kind of let State get some good looks from beyond the three-point line, and that's what they've been able to capitalize on, but not there. Stifling on defense by the Wolverines, not allowing good looks from the perimeter for Michigan State, and then making plays on the offensive end of the floor. You mentioned it was a nice, patient possession that they had there, ultimately finding a cross-court pass to Amari Burnett in the corner for three, and that, I think, is the reason Michigan is on top by one here, is just staying disciplined in that last minute and a half of that first half, and making sure that they got their good looks and playing good defense. This is kind of a high-scoring game, but I think both teams have been fairly okay on defense in spots. There's been some lapses mentally, I think, for both of these teams, maybe getting caught up in the rivalry a little bit and leaving guys wide open. That's what I think both of these teams are going to have to correct at halftime. But both teams with, I think, a lot of things to feel good about going into the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. A back and forth first half. Michigan State takes the lead close to the end, but Michigan gets it right back. Like you said, a physical game in this rivalry. And the second half should not disappoint. WCBN will still be on the call. Luke and I will not be there, but Zach Warshaw and Vian Isor will be. So don't go anywhere, as we will be back for the second half of Michigan State at Chrysler Center for the regular season finale.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to go? Airborne to the highest flying dog of the day. It's a this incredible 5-year-old Border County Australian Shepherd. He's truly lining up the reporting champion this year. Layla is a multi-time world qualifier and is proudly set to represent the state of Ohio at upcoming World Championships. And here's something special. Layla just represented the USA in distance jumping in Toronto and is your international champion. Get ready for some high-flying action as Layla takes flight. The time for Wrestling International Champion Layla. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to see one of the nation's up-and-coming stars? This is Echo with her 16-year-old handler, Olivia. Olivia is from Michigan and is performing all throughout the nation this past summer. And she's quickly becoming one of the nation's best. Get ready for some freestyle action as Echo takes flight. and gentlemen, are you ready for our youngest performing dog? It's a puppy time. Let's make some noise for our little dog, Magic. She's a two dog turned rock star named Magic. Magic has only been with our team for a few months. So let's get live for this little girl. She kicks things off puppy style. Let's hear from us and rescue dog Magic. Our fans, our final dog of the day is Phoenix. Phoenix is a border collie whippet mix with her 16-year-old handler Olivia, one of the nation's best dog dance teams. So get ready for some freestyle action with Olivia and Phoenix. Let's give it one more time for Olivia and Phoenix. One more time for these amazing canine athletes and their trainers. For some high-flying canines on behalf of Performance Dogs of Ohio, thanks for having us. And be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, TikToks, or PerformanceDogsOfOhio.com. Please tag us on your posts so we can see them after the game. And thank you once again. Turn your attention to the board and check out today's Pets of the Game presented by Pet Supplies Plus.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Chrysler Center. My name is Zach Warshaw, alongside Vihan Iswar for Michigan versus Michigan State basketball. At the end of the first half, Michigan leading 42-41. Just a singular point, Vihan, but in a game that we've seen kind of like a tale of stretches and cold streaks from each squad. Michigan really tried their hardest to let the Spartans back into this. They led an 11-point lead at one point, and just kind of turnovers and miscues really just let the Spartans back into this. What did you see in the first half that Michigan, that really, let's start with Michigan, but both sides need to tighten up if they want to pull away with the lead for good for this one?
Yeah, so I think on Michigan State's end, Michigan has been able to exploit one of the Spartans' bigger weaknesses today, and that's playing into their physicality. Obviously, Michigan State has a lot of physical play, a lot of fouls, most notable that of talisman Jeremy Fears, just pretty inexcusable there with a move that I really don't understand why he thought he was going to get away with that. Michigan has managed to make a lot of points come out of those fouls. On Michigan State's end, I think they've shot especially well from distance. That's something they've done well all season. They've exploited the mid-range, they've exploited the jumper. They can shoot from three. On Michigan's end, I think a lot of it just comes down to what has been a weakness of the Dusty May era, which is the turnovers. And I think this is something that comes part and parcel with the Wolverines' very fast brand of play where they do turn the ball over a lot. But I think it's given the Spartans a lot of unnecessary points. It gave the Spartans a 4-point lead towards the end of the half that Mitch pulled its way back into. So I think on Michigan's end, the number one thing they're going to need to clean up is to stop turning the ball over.
I couldn't agree more with you, Vihan, and we've, as you kind of mentioned, seen a tale of that with Dusty May has been able to turn this program around in, just frankly, record time. But the turnovers are a consistent issue that we see multiple games and game after game. And they really need to tighten that up because I know Michigan State's ranked number 8. Michigan's ranked number 3. Frankly, this is a year where the Wolverines are better than the Spartans. The only way you're going to let them stay in this game is constant miscues. You're going to buy into the Jeremy Fears rage baiting, if you will, for lack of a more scholarly term, and just continue to turn the ball over. And what goes with that is the unnecessary fouling. Again, we're kind of seeing Adayamara with unnecessary fouls, getting a tech earlier in this one, so now he's already got to watch himself for the entirety of the second half because if he gets one more, he's gone. This is the sort of thing that lets anyone into the game, lets Iowa into the game, lets a bunch, like whoever you're playing. So if you're playing number 8 Michigan State, you absolutely can't afford to do any of this, and they really got to tighten that up looking into the second half. On the other side, if you're Tom Izzo talking to the Spartans, you're down by 1 to the number 3 team in the nation, arguably higher than that depending on what you want to talk about. If you're Tom Izzo, what are you telling your guys in the locker room to really amp them up and get them going in Chrysler when it is a road environment for them to really continue the momentum from the green and white side?
Well, we all know Izzo's been coaching this rivalry game for longer than anybody on this call has been alive. He understands what today means. It's the capstone of Michigan's arguably their greatest regular season of all time. The Wolverines have clinched the Big Ten regular season crown, will almost certainly be a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, and a lot of people's eyes are the favorite to add their second NCAA tournament. But just Michigan State has the opportunity to play spoiler here on the Wolverines senior night, a senior class featuring fan favorites like Will Shetter as well as National Player of the Year hopeful Yaxel Lendenborg. Michigan State has a chance to play spoiler. Even if the Wolverines do go on to run the table, do go on to win both the Big Ten tournament and the NCAA tournament, them closing off their dream regular season, losing in this building to their greatest rival will be something that they just can't get the taste out of their mouth of. And I think Izzo knows that, and I think that's something that Izzo really wants to reiterate in the locker room.
Couldn't agree more with you, Vihan. Speaking of Yaxel Lendenborg, he leads Michigan with 19 points today, almost half of Michigan's entire points. Michigan State, on the other hand, they're really spreading the ball out a little more. Jackson Kohler's got 12 points to lead the team. They got Jeremy Fears with 10, Cooper with 11. A lot more spread out, unlike Lendenborg, who's kind of running the offense for the Wolverines. As we're seeing both teams re-enter the court, we're about ready to get underway for this second half. The final 20 minutes from Chrysler for the regular season. Final 20 minutes for me and Vihan, both as seniors. It's been an absolute pleasure, and can't wait to see what this last frame really provides us with as Michigan gets set to inbound the ball from the half-court line. Lendenborg will throw it into Burnett, and we are underway for the second half here from Chrysler. Adayamara stands at the M in center court. Gives it over to Cadeau on the right wing. Cadeau looking around. He's got a couple Spartans in his face. Moves away over to the top of the key. Over to Burnett on the right side. Now inside for Morris Johnson Jr. Right underneath the basket, right in the paint. Throws one up over Cooper. That one's good to make it 44-41. Jeremy Fears with it now. Throws it inside to Cooper. Cooper, spin move around a die. Can't really get around it. He'll just throw it out to Carr. Carr blocked by a Dymar as well. He'll have to throw it out to Fears at the M as nothing was getting past that huge frame inside the paint. Jeremy Fears throws it over to Carr. Wide open corner three from the right side is up. Off the back iron, no good. Out of bounds off of Cooper, and that'll be Michigan basketball.
Yeah, I just want to quickly draw attention to that play that gave Morris Johnson the bucket. A lot of times this season you've seen the Wolverines facilitate play through their bigs inside the paint. You haven't seen as much of that today, so I think that's just kind of an example of one of the moves that Michigan has made a big part of their playbook that they haven't really used as much today.
19:03 remaining in the second half. Dymar with it at the top of the key. He's got Carson Cooper right in his face. Now we'll just give it to Lendenborg over the left wing. Lendenborg inside the left, almost to the baseline. Spin move, layup, no good. Rebound collected by Carr and the Spartans. Jeremy Fears with it now on the other side. Gives it to Carr running up the left side. He'll stop at the left wing. Goes inside to Jackson Kohler. Kohler's got Amara right on him. Spin around, right-handed floater, falls. That'll be good to make it a one-point game again, 44-43. Elliot Cadeau with it. Moves in on the right baseline, trips, falls to the ground. We'll wait to see if they call a foul on Michigan State here, or just incidental contact. It indeed is going to be a foul on Carson Cooper. It'll be a second of the night, so keep an eye on that one. Very quiet first night in terms of foul from Cooper, but this Michigan State team isn't exactly known for winning the Fair Play Award, as Elliot Cadeau is going to inbound from the baseline with 18:28 remaining. He'll just throw it out to Lendenborg beyond the arc. Gives it to Mara at about the free throw line. Hands it off to Cadeau at the left wing. Cadeau moves in towards the middle, now on the right side. Over to Lendenborg, now in the corner for Burnett. He'll give it to Mara right in front of him. Right underneath the basket. Spin move around Kohler, and he one-hand slams it down. 46-43 Michigan.
Wolverines' second scoring play of the half that they facilitated through a screen move that gave one of their bigs the ball. Especially you've seen Mara have a bit of an offensive resurgence these past few weeks. That's just a continuation of that trend.
Now Cooper with a spin move on the other side that's rejected by Mara. That'll go off of Cooper's hand, and so it'll be Michigan ball with 18 minutes remaining. 3-point game here. Michigan leads 46-43 as Cadeau takes it up court for the maize and blue. Lendenborg, the top of the key, fakes the pick and roll. Now he'll hand it to Cadeau again at the left wing. Cadeau moving back towards the M in center court, trying to set something up. Throws it into Mara at the free throw line. Over to the right corner. Lendenborg three is up and good! Nothing but net, 49-43. Now the baseball pass down the other end to Jordan Scott, and he lays it up for a quick Michigan State response to make it 49-45.
Lendenborg shooting a phenomenal 4 from 5 from three. Michigan hasn't had too much success or really exploited the three much, except for through Lendenborg.
On the other end now, Michigan loses the ball, and Fears takes it up court for the Spartans. Over to left wing for Scott. Now underneath the basket for Kohler. Spins around Morris Johnson Jr. and lays it in. 49-47 the score. Kohler gets his 16th points of the game, leading the Spartans today. And now Dymar has it. He'll pass it to Morris Johnson Jr. on the right wing. Johnson Jr. moves to the top of the key. Now he'll give it to Burnett on the left side. Moves towards the baseline. Knocks over Scott. Tries to move around him, but loses the ball. Stolen by Jeremy Fears. Fears going the other way. At the left elbow. Back to Cooper at the top of the key. He'll just hand it back to Fears at the M, and they'll slow it down and set up shop here in the Michigan end. 16:38 remaining. 15 on the shot clock. Fears has Morris Johnson Jr. on him. Now we'll just pass it ahead to Cooper. Cooper will try to go for a dunk. He's rejected by Yaxel Lendenborg. Now Michigan takes it the other way with Elliot Cadeau. Drop pass for Lendenborg on the right wing. Thought about a three, held up. Passes it to Morris Johnson Jr. in the right corner. Johnson Jr. working the baseline, spin move, thought about a layup. Now it goes second chance, off the back iron and in. 51-47. Spartans the other end with Carr. He'll give it to Kohler, over to Fears, the top of the key. Trying to do a pick and roll around Cadeau. Fears moves over to the right wing. Now back to Cooper. Back to Scott, who takes a left wing three, is up off the front iron, no good, rebounded by Mara. Elliot Cadeau up the right side. At the right wing in the Spartan end, he'll slow things up now. Over to a Daimar at the top of the key, faked a three for a little bit. And now it's stolen away by Jeremy Fears. He's going to be kind of tangled up with a Daimar, and they're going to call a foul on Mara. And we'll get our first media timeout of the second half, with Michigan leading 51-47 with 15:39 remaining in the second half.
A lot has been said about this team's historic defensive efficiency. Number one on Ken Palm's defensive efficiency rating. Sorry, can't have my tongue. Third highest rated Ken Palm team, I believe, of all time. But really, I think it goes beyond the numbers. It's simple as just look on the court and look at those listed heights. How exactly do you intend to make it past two 6'9"ers and one 7'3"er?
Yeah, it's definitely a tough task, which is what Michigan has been leaning on practically all year. It's a very well-balanced offense, but having those two enormous frames in the paint definitely helps you in the defensive side. That being said, Jackson Kohler has had no problems getting around them. He's 6'9" himself, and so you got a kind of an even matchup for the first time in a while. You really got to adapt to that.
It's worth noting, Michigan has been noted for its relative dearth in terms of steals on the defensive end. And maybe you could argue it's a weakness, but it's also, when you have the size to just set up a defensive scheme to absorb so much opposing pressure, why exactly would you need steals for? There isn't any need to rip the ball away when you know that you're just going to be able to bear down on your opposing guards and just get the ball away just through using your height.
I couldn't agree more, Vihan. Now, if you're Michigan State, Adai Mara has 3 fouls now. Again, we kind of talked about Adai Mara getting into foul trouble a little bit. If you're Michigan State, you kind of try to bait him into fouling here. I know it's kind of juvenile, but if you can get that huge frame out of there, it'll make things a lot easier. We'll wait to see if Dusty May even maybe sits Adai Mara for a tiny bit with 15 minutes remaining. But that's something we talked about, how foul trouble will be the death of the Wolverines if they can't get it together, along with the turnovers. Just bad miscues, I think, is what it all really tallies up to. And really got to get a lock on that if you're Dusty May and the Wolverines, because, again, you're leading here only by 4, 51-47. You're 3 for 3 of your last couple of field goals. However, as we talked about, a game of streaks, game of runs. And so you don't want to go cold and now let Michigan State take the lead again. If you're Dusty May, what do you say that you haven't said already, basically?
I think a lot of the points that Michigan has given Michigan State have been immediately off of Michigan scoring plays. And I think Michigan just picking up the ball after offensive plays is so crucial, because so many of Michigan State's fast breaks have come from Michigan just being a step off in its defensive scheming, coming right off of a bucket.
Couldn't agree more, Vihan. As the media timeout comes to an end, we wait for both teams to leave their respective huddles and back onto the floor. Again, I'm Zach Warshaw alongside Vihan Iswar for this edition of WCBN's coverage of Michigan men's basketball against the Michigan State Spartans. Season finale here from Chrysler, rivalry game, pretty much everything you're asking for. And we'll take it the rest of the way here as Michigan looks to hold this lead and end the season with a strong regular season performance heading into the Big Ten tournament, as Jeremy Fears will shoot free throws after the Adai Mara foul. Fears bounces the ball. He'll bend the knees, put that one up. That one is good to make it 51-48. Jeremy Fears shooting almost 90% from the free throw line, so pretty automatic in terms of college basketball. As he gets the second opportunity, bounced it a few times. He bends his knees, puts that one up. That one is also good to make it a 2-point game, 51-49 with 15:39 remaining in the second half. And it'll be Spartan ball. Jackson Kohler to inbound it. He'll throw it into Fears, and the Spartans will set up.
No Mara on the court currently, backing up what you had theory about Dusty, potentially sitting him for a series or two.
With the 3 fouls, though, as we discussed, he probably would do that. Now a spin move by Kohler, and that falls easily. Spin move fadeaway over Morris Johnson Jr., and that one will make it tied at 51 apiece. Roddy Gale Jr. checked into the game now. He'll take it up for the Wolverines. Yaxel Lindenborg trips and falls off ball. No call on that one. Now Lindenborg has it on the left wing. Moves in on the left baseline. In Kohler's face. Puts it up off the top of the glass. Second chance slam by Roddy Gale, or Morris Johnson Jr., to make it 53-51. Spartans on the other end. Tie up in the middle of the paint. It was a mix of Morris Johnson Jr. and Carson Cooper grabbing for the ball. The refs are going to blow that one dead, and they're going to give the third personal foul to Morris Johnson Jr. on this one. So after he slams that one home, he's going to pick up his third personal. Thriller hot and cold within a couple seconds as we're at 15 minutes even remaining in this second half. Fears to inbound from the baseline. He throws it into Kohler, back to Fears. He'll move all the way up to the M at center court, and now over to the left wing, trying to direct traffic. Gives it to Kohler, who has Morris Johnson Jr. in his face. Again, now with 3 fouls, got to be careful. Back to Fears at the M. 7 seconds on the shot clock. He'll go into the left side. Reverse layup, no good. Rebound fought for. They're going to call a foul on Michigan on the fight for the rebound. That'll go on Yaxel Lendenborg, and it'll be his first foul of the game, but Jeremy Fears will go to the line.
And I think having both Mara and Morris Johnson potentially waiting foul trouble definitely changes the calculus for Michigan in a way that they potentially wouldn't like, because now you risk losing one or both of your bigs for an extended sequence of play, and then with the LJ Kaysen injury, having to factor in depth to potentially rewrite the late game plan, especially on defense.
Fears bends his knees, puts the first opportunity up. That one is good. 53-52 the score now, Michigan leading. No, great point, Vihan. The loss of LJ Kaysen really does show in this opportunity. Obviously, it's just a next man up mentality. LJ Kaysen just a piece of an entire team, but you really miss him in times like these. Fears with a second chance. Bounces the ball. He'll bend the knees, put that one up, and that is good to make it tied again at 53 apiece. Elliot Cadeau takes the ball up as Jeremy Fears reaches 14 points on the afternoon. Cadeau has 0 for Michigan on the other end. Morris Johnson Jr. He hands it off to Roddy Gale at the top of the key. He'll move it back to Morris Johnson at the bottom of the right baseline, just about 5 feet off of it. Spin around Kohler, tried to put it up, blocked by Kohler. Second chance, also blocked, and now Michigan State takes it up. Jeremy Fears at the top of the key, moves it over to Kohler. Left wing 3 is up and good from the big man. Michigan State takes the lead 56-53.
I think that just makes another example of what we're seeing here with Michigan not being able to get to those second chance opportunities on offense, whether it be clamping down the ball after a bucket of their own or picking up those offensive rebounds.
Michigan on the other end. Reverse dunk by Yaxel Lendenborg. Slam down. 56-55 as the lead's cut to 1. That'll get the maize rage up and going as Michigan State's going quickly on the other end. Carson Cooper underneath. Slam dunk opportunity. Pass from Carr. That one's down. 58-55 as the lead is back up to 3. Both teams going quick. Elliot Cadeau on the right wing. Moves it over to Roddy Gale, who flies in on the right side. Tried to pass it over to Burnett. Deflected out of bounds by Carr. And that'll be Michigan basketball with 20 seconds left on the shot clock. 13:30 left in the second half. Everything working for both squads right now, Vihan. A couple of substitutions will be made at this point. Jackson Kohler now 2 for 4 from 3. 21 points on the day for the 6'9" senior.
And you see Michigan swapping out Johnson and Mara, kind of reflecting Michigan's strategy to manage to keep a big on the court while also not risking losing both of your bigs to foul trouble.
Ball is inbounded to Roddy Gale. Throws it ahead to Lendenborg. Lendenborg standing wrist inside the arc in the left wing. He's got Cam Ward right on him. Switches up with Cooper. Now over to Cadeau on the top of the key. Cadeau moves it on the left side. He's fouled halfway to the basket. He'll throw up a shot that falls, but that's well before the whistle. And the foul is going to go on Kurt Tang, who's checked in for the Spartans.
You know, I know the NFL is a long offseason. I didn't think it was long enough for Cam Ward to pick up a second gig as a Michigan State basketball player.
Dude, he got tired of the Tennessee Titans and decided to start playing guard for the Spartans. It's pretty insane. Cam Ward, also legendary goaltender for the Carolina Hurricanes. He really is just trying all sports, to be honest with you. As Elliot Cadeau on the baseline will inbound all the way back to Lendenborg at the block M. Top of the key for the Wolverines. He moves over to Trey McKinney, who's checked in on the left side, down by the baseline. Just about 2 feet outside the paint. Spin move over Fears. That one is up and good. What a floater that falls down to make it 58-57. Fears now quickly the other end will try a floater of his own. That one is up. Rebound by Cooper is up and falls. They're going to call a foul on that one. Not sure if that'll count. Looks like it will. They're going to call the foul on Morris Johnson Jr. actually, so that will count. It'll be 60-57 Spartans, and Carson Cooper's going to go to the line for an and one. Cooper at the line, shooting about 78% on the season from the line. Bends the knees, kinda, puts that one up, and that'll fall. He kind of was just standing straight up the whole time, but that's good to make it 61-57 Spartans with 12:57 remaining as Elliot Cadeau takes it up court. Cadeau still looking for his first points on the game, as he'll pass it to Mara, and they'll go around the horn all the way to Lendenborg, who moves over to the top of the key. Back to Cadeau at the left wing. 13 seconds on the shot clock. Over to Mara on the left side. We're behind the back pass to Roddy Gale, who puts it up over Cooper. That one's good. 61-59. The right-handed floater over Cooper falls to make it 2-point game with 12:30. Jeremy Fears at the top of the key. He'll pass it over to Kurt Tang. Right wing three is blocked by Cadeau. Tang gets his own rebound and hits the deck hard as it hit the shoulder of Roddy Gale, and he kind of just fell directly on his stomach. Don't think they're going to call any foul here. If they did, that'd be kind of insane. It was just incidental contact as he was flying through the air like Superman. But either way, it's going to remain Michigan State ball with 12:23, 2-point game. They are indeed going to call a foul on Roddy Gale. It's going to be his third foul.
I'm not sure I love that call.
That's an interesting, from an unbiased perspective, it's definitely an interesting call as Kurt Tang was literally flying through the air. And they're not going to take out Yexel Lendenborg, and Will Cheddar is going to check back into the game for Michigan. Ball is inbounded to Cam Ward. Passed off to Wojcik. Back to Cam Ward at the right wing. And now Kohler has it. Michigan State passing it to everybody. Wojcik going in on the left side. He's checked in for the Spartans. First action he's seen. Now over to left wing for Jordan Scott, who steps out of bounds, and that'll be Michigan ball. His pinky toe was just a little bit too far back, Vihan, and that'll go Wolverine basketball with 12:06 remaining in this 2-point contest.
And I think that's an example of the defensive scheme that I pointed out for the Wolverines, where they can just kind of rely on their size and spacing and just keep the Spartans out of the paint without necessarily even getting their hands to the ball.
Elliot Cadeau with it now for the Wolverines. Tries to move around Wojcik. He moves in on the right side now, right below the elbow. Takes a shot off the back iron and in. Good. Even matchup, 61-61, even game. Wojcik now going fast for the Spartans. Jeremy Fears not in the game as he's checked out. Now they got to run it through everybody. Can't just rely on one guy. Jordan Scott moving to the top of the key. Back to Cam Ward at the right side of the baseline. Now underneath the basket. It's got to give to somebody. Over to Carr on the left side. He moves in towards the middle. Back to Scott in the left corner. Over to Ward. Back to Carr. Right corner three is up off the side. No good. Rebounded by Will Cheddar. He'll hand it Cadeau, and they'll take it up court. 11:15 remaining in the 61-all contest. Elliot Cadeau on the right wing. He'll move into the right side on the baseline. He'll just throw one up there awkwardly. No good. Rebounded easily by the Spartans. And now Wojcik takes it up. Alley-oop attempt for Carr. Just a little behind him. He almost had that one. And then he hangs on the basket and falls down a little embarrassingly. And the Maize Rage is going to let him hear that one. That'll be Michigan basketball as we enter our second media timeout of the half. 61-61 game here, Vihan, with 11:01 remaining. In the past couple minutes, we've seen pretty much everything working for both teams. Whole lot of baskets, none of defense, excuse me. What did you see that really stood out to you in the past couple minutes, Vihan? What changed and what needs to still be altered?
Yeah, I think one thing I pointed out was that Michigan just can't get an extra pair of hands or just an extra man by the bucket, and I think that's starting to change a little bit. You saw some of those screen plays drawn up inside the paint to shut the half. You saw more movement of Lendenborg, Mara, and Johnson moving inside the paint. I think that's kind of what Michigan needs to do with a scheme so built around just getting guys in at the dunker. Although Michigan has shown its ability to play its guards at the dunker as well, it always helps to have that extra pair of hands at the paint. I think Michigan's gotten better at drawing up some of those plays.
Absolutely. Never can, it goes for any sport really, you can never have not enough hands on deck. Lendenborg now leading Michigan up to 24 points on the day. Jackson Kohler has taken more of a role here, 21 points. After spreading the ball around pretty evenly in the first half, Kohler has taken kind of a commanding role, in the second half. Again, the senior from American Fork, Utah. Jackson Kohler's great-grandfather, one of 12 remaining Pearl Harbor survivors, actually, at senior day at Breslin. He was in attendance for what was a very emotional day for the Kohler family. Now he's trying to finish out the season strong for everybody in his name and the Michigan State faithful. And he's definitely done his part today. 21 points, 6 rebounds. Really, you couldn't ask for more. Now the rest of the Spartans need to rally around him, as they have been all day, to finish this one strong if they want a chance of upsetting Michigan here at Chrysler.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to note on the Michigan State side is Cohen Carr, one of Michigan State's most notable highlight reel players. The only highlight reels he's really produced are ones where he's the butt of the joke, getting put basically on his back by Axel Lendenborg in the first half, and then that failed dunk attempt just before the timeout that caused the Maize Rage to give him a bit of guff there. Carr only 4 points on the day, which really something you wouldn't expect from one of Michigan State's most athletic players.
Yeah, I think you saw Carson Cooper throw down the alley-oop that was, in all honesty, pretty amazing in the first half, and was like, I can do that easily. And then just timed it a little off and really hit the deck pretty hard. And so when it comes back here in a little bit, it will be Michigan basketball. As both teams exit their respective huddles, the media timeout is over, and we'll almost ready to get back to play here, with 11-0 run remaining in the second half. 61 all in this game, back and forth. Michigan 4 of their last 5 from the field. Michigan State doing almost as well. Both teams just everything clicking really except for defense in the second half. But we're getting the offensive showdown that everyone thought this would be and everyone honestly wanted, even us. This is everything that was billed, Vihan. 8 versus 3, in-state rivalry. You clearly couldn't ask for anything more here to finish out the regular season in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, and you had some would say, well, Michigan's got nothing left to play for. This doesn't matter. It's Michigan versus Michigan State basketball. Both teams are national title contenders. It always matters.
It always matters. I don't care if you're Jawan Howard winning 2 games a year. You always want to beat Sparty in any sport, even if it's badminton. Trey McKinney with the ball as he's checked back in. He'll pass it ahead to Mara.
What would it take Michigan to get varsity badminton, I wonder?
Hey, just the right donor. It's all that takes. Arizona State's got D1 hockey now because the right donor. You just need the right guy with the right passion. Over to Roddy Gale on the right wing. Roddy Gale moves in towards the baseline, trying to get around Carr. He can't. Now would put it over him. It'll roll off the front iron and in. What a job to get over the 6'6" Cohen Carr to make it 63-61 Michigan. Jeremy Fears Jr. back into the game after a quick rest, and he'll try to direct traffic from the M.
That was some great ball handling there from Gale to set up the contested shot.
Cam Ward over to Cohen Carr in the right wing. Into Kohler. It's deflected out of bounds. It'll go off of Mara, and it'll be Michigan State basketball. Mara desperately begging Dusty May to take a look at that one, and we'll see if he decides it's worth his time. Looks like he'll just kind of wave Mara off like, nah, you kind of touched that, buddy. And so Michigan State will immediately inbound it from the baseline with Jeremy Fears Jr. Axel Lendenborg will check back in. He'll replace Elliot Cadeau. So Michigan got the lineup of McKinney, Mara, Lendenborg, Cheddar, and Gale Jr. here with 10 and 14 remaining. Ball is thrown all the way back to Jeremy Fears Jr., who had swapped with Kohler on the inbound. Kohler now on the left wing. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Jeremy Fears standing at half court. I don't think he realizes it. He's got 3 seconds. He's really got to shoot it. Inside the arc, we're on the right wing. Takes a shot off the back iron. No good as the shot clock expires. And that one will be tossed out of bounds as people fight for the rebound. It'll be off of Kohler. Michigan basketball with 9:58 remaining. Trey McKinney will take it up for Michigan as we're under 10 to play here in the second half. Michigan holding a 2-point lead at 63-61, and they're on a 6-0 run over the last 2.5 minutes. Michigan State has not scored at all in the past 3. Corner 3 from Trey McKinney immediately off the side. No good. Rebounded by Cooper. Over to Fears Jr., who takes it up quickly. He'll stop now and wait for everyone to catch up with him. Back to Cooper on the right wing. He hands it off to Jordan Scott, the freshman from the D.C. area, trying to get around Axel Lendenborg. He'll just throw it back to Kohler. Over to Fears. The Michigan State's moving it around. Fears at the top of the key. 12 seconds on the shot clock as Maize Rage gets loud now. Kohler over to Carr. Tried to drive through the middle, loses the ball. And now Lendenborg will steal it. Taking it up court, he's got Roddy Gale. He tosses it up to him. Deflected away by Jeremy Fears on the alley-oop attempt. Corner 3 on Trey McKinney. That one's good off the rebound. What a second chance opportunity to get the deflected ball and shoot it from the 3 line. 66-61 Michigan with 9 to play.
Michigan's offensive rebounding hasn't always looked like it should for this game, but that was an example of just why this Wolverines team has been so dangerous this season.
Jeremy Fears with the ball as Chrysler gets on their feet. Directing traffic as this gets the loudest we've heard Chrysler all night. He'll pass it over to Kohler on the left side. Thought about a shot right inside the arc. Now he'll think twice, try to move in closer. Now a fadeaway over Lendenborg. Off the front iron, no good. Rebound fought for. Mara has it. Trey McKinney up court for the Maize and Blue. He's going right up the lane. Shot attempt is up, deflected, no good, but there's a foul on the play. And Trey McKinney will go to the line with 8:29 remaining in the 66-61 game.
Michigan really excelled at drawing contact early in this game. Hasn't necessarily been as big a part of the strategy as the game's progressed. But now Michigan has been able to successfully draw some contact, as well as Michigan State. I'll give them credit that they have cleaned up their fouls from a bit of a scrappy first half of the game, and now they have a chance to extend this run and potentially get up to a 7-point lead.
Cleaned up the fouls, but the turnovers are a problem, as we've seen multiple from Michigan State, as the first attempt is up and good from Trey McKinney. Michigan now at 10-0 run over the last 4 minutes. Michigan State hasn't scored in over 4.5, while Michigan is 6 of their last 8 from the field. As Trey McKinney tries to make it an 11-0 run here as he gets the ball back for his second chance. Bounces it a few times, spins it in his hands, he's pulling out all the stops here. He bends his knees, puts it up, and that one is good, 68-61. 11-0 run over the last 4 minutes, 8 seconds. And Morris Johnson Jr. is going to check back into the game for Adayamara, as once again the Maize Rage gets on their feet and loud here from the Chrysler Center with under 8.5 to play. Jeremy Fears will take it up as everyone just screaming at him as this entire place is on their feet. And me and Vihan got to stand up just to see over everybody. Fears will throw it up for Cooper, who slams it home. Another alley-oop for Carson Cooper. 68-63 now. As he just slammed that down, there's going to be a whistle on it. It'll definitely be a basket. Now they're going to call a foul on the alley-oop as well. So Cooper's going to go to the line for the and one. Cooper gets the ball, he bends his knees, puts that one up, and that one will be sunk easily. 68-64, Michigan still leads, but only by 4 now as Michigan State breaks the drought. Now Trey McKinney up court with it for Michigan. He's looking at Jeremy Fears right in the eyes at the M in center court. I'll move it over to Morris Johnson Jr. Gives it back to Lendenborg now at the left wing. Lendenborg moving around Kohler. Trey McKinney, a deep 3 now. That one is good! He shot that one from North Campus, and it didn't matter. It went in 71-64, about 4 feet behind the arc, as Michigan State now look to rebound. Fears with it. He'll move over to the left side. 7:40 to play.
That'll bring Michigan up to a clean, shooting 50% from the 3 on the night. 9 from 18.
Over to Kohler in the right corner, thought about a 3. Now to Carr, who drives down the middle and slams it home. 71-66 as he had a police escort to the basket. No one was in the paint other than Cohen Carr. Trey McKinney with it now for the Maize and Blue. Standing at the M, trying to slow things down a little bit with just over 7 remaining. They'll give it to Morris Johnson Jr., pass it back to McKinney on the left side. Now he's going around all by himself. Maybe a bit of a travel there, nothing called. Lendenborg with it now on the right wing, trying to get around Carr. 4 seconds left on the shot clock. Morris Johnson Jr. 3 from the top of the key, off the back iron, no good. Jimmy Fears grabs the rebound, then hits the deck hard. And now he's on the ground, looks to be a little bit shaken up. Teammates will come over and help him up. Maybe a little Jeremy Fears special there on that one. And we'll get another timeout with just under 7 to play, 6:59 to be exact, in the 71-66 contest.
We've seen the game speed up a lot in these last few minutes, and I think with that, you've seen a lot more turnovers, but you've seen more of them come on Michigan State's end. The Wolverines have been playing relatively clean since the start of the half, have sort of really cleaned up on those second chance opportunities that have given the Spartans a lot of baskets. On the other hand, Michigan State has, like you said, they've cleaned up the foul trouble that gave Michigan a lot of basically 3 points in the first half, but in the process, they've turned the ball over a lot more.
Yes, all the trends are out the window now at this point, as we're again to just a back-and-forth game. Both teams hitting really everything after Michigan State had about a 4.5, almost 5-minute drought. Now they're really just powering it through the middle. 71-66, that will be a foul on Trey McKinney when we come back. Jeremy Fears went down pretty hard. They're going to say he was pushed in air to some degree. So that'll be Trey McKinney's first personal foul on the day. So with just under 7 minutes, Vihan, it looks like Michigan has most of the momentum. How do you prevent Michigan State from stealing that now? As you got a foul, Jeremy Fears obviously is the heart and soul of this team, whether you like him or not. How do you keep Sparty from stealing it back if you're Michigan?
Like I said, a lot of Michigan's I think this works in Michigan's favor with the defensive scheme that they play that relies less on contact and more so space and dominating zones through the size of their bigs. And yes, I think the foul trouble from Mara and Johnson complicates things a little bit, but at the same time, even with swapping out Mara and Johnson the way the Wolverines have been doing much of this half, they still give themselves the presence of Mara and of either Mara or Johnson in combination with Lendeborg, and you also have Shetter playing a lot of shifts in that backcourt.
Absolutely. Great point, pulling out the Will Shetter play. Shetter was 0 points on the day, but as we've seen, really the definition of a glue guy. Everyone just plays around him when he's out there. Even if he doesn't appear on the stat sheet, the team rallies around him. He's the true definition of what a Michigan man really is.
Yeah, Shetter's been one of the most popular players in this locker room, both inside the locker room but also with fans for years.
Oh, absolutely. Everyone loves some cheddar cheese. As a clap gets going here in Chrysler, as we're still waiting on the media timeout to end. Pretty much a longer one, is not going to blame anybody, but since it's on CBS, got to get those advertising dollars because everyone wants to see the same State Farm advertisement over and over again. Again,
hey, give them some credit. It could also be a gambling ad.
That's true. 71-66 here to score. Again, if you're just joining us, I'm Zach Warshaw alongside Vihan Iswar for WCBN's coverage of Michigan versus Michigan State. As the cheerleaders exit the floor, the huddles are about to disperse. Michigan State now in the bonus after that foul by, again, Trey McKinney, as Jeremy Fears hit the deck hard. Maybe a little bit of generosity there from the refs. Didn't really see a replay, so can't say for sure. However, Jeremy Fears will go to the line for a 1-and-1. As the Michigan State Spartans are just standing at the free throw line waiting for Dusty May to finish his talk. Michigan now returns to the floor. We're about ready to commence the final 7 minutes of this one, Vihan. Again, Jeremy Fears with 14 points on the day, 8 of that in free throws. He's 8 for 9. As whenever he's at the free throw line, this place gets very rowdy. Jeremy Fears gets the ball, bounces it a few times. He'll bend the knees and put that one up. Rings around and off the side, no good. 8 for 10 now, and he won't get the second chance. Elliot Cadeau will take it up court for the Michigan Wolverines as he's checked back into the game. Cadeau looking at Fears right in the eyes. Now he'll move it over to Namari Burnett on the left side. Back to Cadeau, right inside the left baseline. Throws it all the way across the court. Michigan moving it around the horn. Now it's going to be just a fadeaway from Trey McKinney from the free throw line. Off the back iron, no good. Rebounded by Cam Ward. Over to Fears now. Fears moves it through. Shot from the right side of the key. That one is going to go off the side of the basket. He's going to do kind of a swim dive motion through the air. And it looks like they're going to call a foul on Elliot Cadeau on that one, as he was to some degree fouled on the replay. The fans not happy with that one. That will be Elliot Cadeau's second foul. And since it's a shooting foul, that will be 2 shots, not a 1-and-1, as Jeremy Fears gets the ball for the first attempt. Bends the knee, bounces it once, puts that one up and good to make it 71-67. Jeremy Fears again shooting almost 90% from the field through the season. He's now 9 for 11 tonight, pretty much holding that true. Fears looking for a 16th point here in the second attempt. Bounces the ball once, he'll bend the knees, pauses on that one. He puts it up, that one is good. 71-68 now as we're back to a 3-point game with 6:28 to play.
Yeah, and I think with the exception of Fears' foul, I don't think this has necessarily been a bad tempered game, more so than both teams just playing into each other's strengths and really leaning into contact as much as possible.
Oh, couldn't agree more, Vihan. None of it's very malicious, I'd say, as the ball's thrown into Morris Johnson Jr. on the right baseline, trying to get around Cooper. He'll get it to fall off the right-handed floater, and a foul for an and one. 73-68 before the free throw. That'll be Morris Johnson Jr.'s 15th point of the night. Has a chance to make it 16 here at the free throw line. Foul is going to go on Carson Cooper. It'll be his third foul, as now both teams have a few players to watch out for, as 3 fouls per player is coming kind of a common theme here. Morris Johnson Jr. has 3. Cam Ward, Carson Cooper, everyone's got 3. Call it the 3-piece combo from Canes, Vihan.
I'm a box combo guy. Sometimes I'll get up to a Caniac if I haven't eaten all day.
Morris Johnson Jr. puts that one up off the back iron, no good. But a rebound got by Morris Johnson Jr., and Michigan retains possession. 15 on the shot clock. Elliot Cadeau on the left wing. He'll move it back to Trey McKinney. McKinney on the left wing, now move over towards the top of the key. Bounces it over to Trey McKinney, Roddy Gale in the right corner. Three-point attempt, no good, off the rebound and a fly out of bounds. They're going to say it goes off of Morris Johnson Jr., so it'll be Michigan State basketball with 5:50 to play. Cam Ward inbounds it to Jeremy Fears, and he'll take it up court for the Spartans. Again, Maize Rage gets loud here. Fears on the left side, move over to the right now. He gives it over to Kohler. They're moving around the horn now to Scott. A couple of people. Now Cam Ward tried to put up a shot, was no good, blocked away. Rebounded by Kohler. He tried to put up himself, and it's knocked out of his hands, out of bounds. There will remain Michigan State basketball with 7 seconds left on the shot clock. Jackson Kohler to inbound the ball from the Michigan baseline. Again, 7 seconds on the shot clock, 5:28 on the game clock in this 73-68 contest. Referees discussing something over by Tom Izzo. Now saying something to Lendenborg. Maybe just a verbal warning here or something. Either way, it'll be time for Michigan State to inbound it. Kohler just throws it back to Fears at the M. He's got 6 seconds left in the shot clock. Got to move fast. Fears moves into the right side, runs into his own guy in Cam Ward. Now moves in towards the paint, tries to put up a shot. No good as the shot clock expires. And now we're going to get a little bit of pushing and shoving as that shot clock violation will make it Michigan basketball. And Cam Ward had a few choice words to say to Morris Johnson Jr. underneath the basket after that one. 5:19 to play in this one. They're going to call a personal foul here on Cam Ward after that. Obviously what he said had a little bit of weight to it, and so that'll be his 4th foul on the day, and he's got to watch himself. One more and he's gone as the Let's Go Blue starts here in Chrysler. The ball will be inbounded to Elliot Cadeau, and he will take it up court. Just over 5 to play here in the second half, 73-68 Wolverines. Cadeau will hand it over to Lendenborg. Lendenborg at the bottom of the M. Over to Roddy Gale. Now Cadeau in the left corner. Back to Roddy Gale. Back to Lendenborg as they just throw it around the horn. On the right wing now Lendenborg stands. Trying to get around Kohler. He'll move in towards the baseline. Tried to get around him on the right side, left side. Now try to pass it back. Blocked away. Rebound fought forward. Got by Morris Johnson Jr. He'll just put it up from a really bad angle. Get his own rebound. Try to put it back. Also rejected by the rim itself. And it'll fly out of bounds off of Morris Johnson Jr. and be Michigan State ball with 4:46. Jeremy Fears Jr. with it now for the Spartans. We've seen the offense run entirely through Fears Jr. for the vast majority of this game. He tries to get around Cadeau, runs into a brick wall. Now we'll move into the left side of the paint. Over to Kohler, slams it down, but they're going to call a foul on the off ball. Instead, it'll be Michigan basketball. The basket wouldn't have counted anyway because Cooper missed the dunk, and so it'll be Michigan ball, 4:29 remaining. Adai Mara will check back in for Morris Johnson Jr. Again, Behan, like you said, swapping big for big as they try to have at least one in. As a very choice chant that we cannot repeat breaks out in the Maize Rage here. Not a fan of Jeremy Fears Jr., I think we can assume.
If you think these chants are vulgar, you should hear Michigan's hockey chants. The Children of Yost has some choice words in store for opponents.
And now Elliot Cadeau standing at the top of the key. Jeremy Fears just reaches in and touches him, so that's going to be a foul on Jeremy Fears.
Just completely unnecessary at the stage of the game.
I have no idea why he did that. It's only his second of the night somehow, but that was just completely unnecessary, and so Michigan will just inbound him from about half court, and we'll try it again. Elliot Cadeau now on the left side. Tried to move in through Fears. Almost got him off balance. Threw it up for Mara. A little too tall somehow. He didn't hit a dime Mara, and that'll be a turnover. Jeremy Fears has it for the Spartans. Top of the key. Over to Cooper now. Just outside the right elbow. He'll hand it off to Scott. Fake the handoff, actually. He keeps it. Now at the free throw line. Moving very slowly. Over to Jeremy Fears in the left corner. Again, right in Elliot Cadeau's chest. At the free throw line. Puts up a shot from the left elbow. That one falls. Nothing but net. 73-70. As we're back to a three-point contest. Trey McKinney now for the Wolverines. In the left corner, just waiting for everyone to get set. Baseball passes it to Roddy Gale at the right wing. He'll move on the right side. Right corner three now is up and good! Yaxel Lendenborg left wide open, and he'll sink that one to make it 76-70 as we get a timeout called by Michigan State. as this place erupts with 3:27 remaining.
What can you even say about the Lindenborg pickup that hasn't been said already? That was the addition in the offseason that was thought to turn Michigan from a fringe national championship contender into one of the outright favorites to bring it all home, and he has lived up to every bit of the part. You know, will likely finish highly in National Player of the Year voting, even if it may be a little too late for him to unseat Duke's Cameron Boozer for the nod.
Yeah, it was kind of a fight between him and Cameron Boozer the entire year. Both players absolutely phenomenal. And he, not to just echo what you just said, Vihan, but he was obviously the star pickup, and he has shown that every single game in and game out. He's really got it all. He can slam it in through the paint. He can shoot from the arc. What can't this man do? After spending a couple seasons at Alabama Birmingham, really has been the pickup Dusty May needed to get this team over the hump that we saw last year and really be a national title contender.
I do want to shout out the University of Alabama Birmingham for having one of the best logos in college basketball.
The Blazers, absolutely. The Dragon, Blasty is absolutely insane. Was so devastated when their football program shut down a few years ago. Everyone was so mad they finally had no choice but to bring it back, because Blasty is one of the best logos in college sports. As someone who has never even been to the state of Alabama, it is just absolutely so cool.
And as things stand, the Blazers, fourth in the American Athletic Conference, but for those of you who want to see Blasty in the tournament, you don't need to worry just yet. There's a chance that they could win the AAC's tournament and get an auto bid.
Oh, what a contest that would be at 20-11 if they managed to sneak their way into the tournament. Always the chance that Michigan could meet them at some point, get a little reunion there for Yaxel Lendenborg. Well, unlikely. You're never going to count out anything in March, as this 30-second MSU timeout has turned into another media timeout at this point. With 3:27 remaining, 76-70, Michigan leads. If you're Tom Izzo, Vihan, what are you saying to really rally the troops right now? You've got plenty of time. You're only down 6, but Michigan's got all the momentum right now. What do you do?
I think I'm going to have to really emphasize composure here. Obviously, it's an emotional game, late stages, but at the same time, Michigan State's emotions have been what's come back to bite them in the butt so far, especially in the last few minutes, seeing Fears just being unable to keep his hands to himself. And I think especially now with so much of this game being influenced by little swings or miscues from the other team, with both teams playing such general high-quality basketball, the last thing the Spartans need is just another set of unforced fouls that give Michigan 3 points.
Dusty May has broken his huddle, just waiting for Tom Izzo to finish, saying what I would assume is only exactly what you just said, Dion. Again, 3:27 to play. If you're just joining us, thank you for tuning in to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan versus Michigan State basketball. Number 3 versus number 8 here from the Chrysler Center to round out the regular season, and it is everything that had been advertised. 6-point game as Michigan State re-enters the floor. We're about ready to go the final distance. 3:27 of nothing but pure hoops, pure ethical basketball. Let's go. Michigan State inbounds it. Jeremy Fears will take it up court as the Maize Rage gets up and jumping once again. Fears moves in on the right side. Has Lendenborg in his face, trying to back up a little bit and try to direct someone over. He'll call Cooper over for a pick and roll. Moves over to the left elbow, pulls up for a 2-pointer jumper. That one's good. Standard textbook pick and roll from Sparty right there, 76-72. And we're a 4-point game with 3 minutes remaining. Michigan State now 4 of their last 5 from the field, as a drought we saw earlier has now become nothing but a hot streak. Elliot Cadeau on the right wing. He'll throw it over to Lendenborg in the right corner, where he just hit a 3 not that long ago. Moves it to Morris Johnson Jr. underneath the basket. He puts one up. That one rings around. Rebounded by Mara. Second chance opportunity. Also no good. Fought for it. It'll change possession 16 times, it seems like. And it'll be touched by Michigan State with a foot out of bounds. It'll remain Michigan basketball with 2:39 remaining. And after that one, we're going to get our media timeout now, because a media timeout after a Michigan State media timeout 13 seconds ago is exactly what you're looking for. Anyway, 4-point game now, Vihan, 76-72. Michigan now has all 3 bigs back in the game. We got Lendenborg, Mara, and Morris Johnson Jr. on the floor. At this point, with 2.5 remaining, you kind of got to forego any concerns about foul trouble.
Yeah.
If you're Dusty May, what is your play here? Are you going straight defense? You throwing in, you want to get the kill shot? What are you looking for?
I think if you're going to split this up, I think I would spend maybe the first 30, 40 seconds of game time just kind of throwing in, maybe drawing up a screen or something to add another 2 points. on the board. And then after that, just kind of stack the backcourt with just your bigs. Just make use of spacing. Just kind of trying to avoid any contact that might give away fouls. Just keep it simple.
Couldn't agree more. I think many teams will honestly just lose games off of being too conservative once you have not a big enough lead, or just really going for the kill shot in ridiculous scenarios and giving the other team the opportunity to jump back in this one. So really, I think you should get down there with the clipboard, Vihan. I think you got the perfect analysis of what Michigan should do. If you're Michigan State, we kind of already talked about it. I think you should do exactly what we talked about in the last media timeout 20 seconds ago, where you got to keep your composure. You're only down by 4. You've made a couple mistakes, but you are 4 your last 5 from the field, as we just saw. Everything's still clicking for you. You may not have every ounce of momentum right now, but you got nothing to give up at the moment. It's pretty 50-50 as we're looking at it.
I think people went into this game worrying that maybe it wouldn't matter, but I think those fears have been allayed as we see WCBN broadcaster Jake Lancer briefly makes an appearance on the Jumbotron.
Jake Lancer, beautiful WCBN alumni there, finishing his last game for Maize and Brew. Shout out Jake Lancer as he gets ready for law school. Again, we love him here at the station. Excited for what holds in his future. He's done a lot for us, and can't wait to see what all of our alumni do. Always happy to see WCBN people succeed after their final broadcast.
Unfortunately, Zach and I we're old, but we're not that old. Our final broadcast is not quite yet, so we've got about 2 months. We got about 2 months left, and to see it in my end, plenty more DSRs. So please keep tuning in, especially if you would like to hear some NHL talk.
Oh yeah, as anyone who listens to the station knows, I am the resident. Force everybody to listen to hockey talk, including Michigan hockey. Thankfully, I've got Vihan on the boat with me as he's the Michigan Daily's on the hockey beat. We're still working on the rest of the station, but definitely tune in if you want to hear us yap about Michigan hockey as they again reclaim #1 heading into the Big Ten tournament. But until then, we got to talk about what's right in front of us. Michigan heading into the Big Ten tournament. Michigan State here also. Everyone's really expecting these two to face off again. It's 8 versus 3. Top 10 in the country. You know, I think they're saying the Big Ten runs college basketball, Vihan. You didn't hear it from me, but that's what the rumor mill is saying.
But I've heard it's. Yeah. Many people are saying this.
I've heard it time and time again. As Michigan again waiting for Michigan State to exit the huddle as they will right now. And with 2:39 remaining, we're about ready to get back to action. It'll be Michigan ball from the MSU baseline. Elliot Cadeau to inbound it for the Wolverines. As he gets the ball, throws into Lendenborg. Thought about a corner 3 immediately. Now he'll just move in. Alley-oop attempt for Morris Johnson, and he slams it down over Cohen Carr. What an absolute beast move there by Morris Johnson Jr. to make it 78-72. Sparty quick now the other way. In and out shot by Carson Cooper. Now a football-esque pass for the length. Morris Johnson Jr. puts up the layup. It's no good, but he's fouled by Cooper, and he'll go to the line with 2:21 remaining in the 78-72 contest.
You know what you said about giving me a clipboard? I think that needs to happen because I just noted that Tom Izzo need to tell the Spartans to keep their composure in check. And just now, just a totally unnecessary bit of contact on a shot that wasn't going into through the net anyway.
That'll put Michigan in the bonus and went up. They're going to give that to Fears, actually. Him and Cooper went up. It looked like Cooper got more contact, but either way, it'll be Fears' third foul on the day. With 2:20 remaining, not necessarily concerning at this point. But Morris Johnson Jr. will go to the line for the first attempt. He'll put that one up. It is good. 79-72. As we just mentioned, Michigan in the bonus now, so both teams in the bonus for the rest of this one. Johnson Jr. gets the ball back for the second attempt. Shooting about 80% from the line on the season. Again, he's known for taking a long breath, almost like Giannis, just kind of waiting there with the ball. Now he'll finally bounce it a few times. He'll bend his knees and put that one up. Off the back iron, no good. Rebounded by Kohler, so only 1 for 2 by Morris Johnson. 79-72. Here's Jeremy Fears, directs traffic from the M. 2:15 to play here in the second half as Sparty looks to get back into this one. Cooper with it now. He'll go over to Carr. Carr moves in on the free throw line. He'll pull up for a floater. That one's off the back iron, no good. Rebound fought for off the foot of Kohler, and it'll be out of bounds to be Michigan basketball with 2:02 left in the second half. Kurtang's going to check back into the game now, replacing Cohen Carr. Let's Go Blue breaks out here in Chrysler, as Elliot Cadeau will take it nice and slow now, definitely wanting to drain some of this clock as we're under 2 to play here in the second half. Michigan leading by 7. Lindenborg within the right corner. He'll throw into Chenner, who's checked in, over to Trey McKinney on the other side. Or excuse me, Gale Jr. I read 1, not 11. Gale Jr. now goes up for the attempt, blocked by Carson Cooper. Clean block there, and Michigan State takes it the other way. Jeremy Fears over to Kurt Tang on the right corner 3. Off the front iron, no good. Was left wide open, but didn't get all of that one. Rebound won by Roddy Gale, and now Elliot Cadeau takes it up with a mid at 20 as Chrysler gets to their feet. He'll just dribble this one out, and it looks like Sparty doesn't really want to foul right now. Now we're going to get an off-ball foul here on, it looks like, Carson Cooper. Tom Izzo now not happy, as that is indeed going to be a foul on Carson Cooper, and it's going to be a technical foul. So Adayamara is going to go to the line to shoot a couple uncontested free throws. Now, well, all free throws are uncontested, but nobody's there, to be honest, what I meant to say. He puts that one is up and good. 80-72 as the lead is now 8 as he gets ready for the second attempt. Maize Rage flying a Spain flag right behind the bench now in support of Adayamara. He puts that one up, and it is good. 81-72 as the lead is now 9, and it'll be Michigan basketball with a minute 12 remaining, as we might have just seen the dagger, Vihan.
Fun fact, one of my best friends is just 2 degrees of separation away from Adayamara. A guy we both know, actually.
Elliot Cadeau with it now. He'll pass it to Lindenborg, moves on the left baseline, back to Cadeau at the top of the key. Moves over to left wing, pulls up for 3, off the back iron, no good. This place would have erupted. Rebound won by Roddy Gale, and now Michigan State will foul him with 54.5. But they're going to need a lot of help as Chrysler erupts now, and Roddy Gale will go to the line. Down by 9, 54.5. They're going to need a lot of misses and a lot of makes on their end as Roddy Gale pulls up for his first attempt. Roddy Gale shooting about 75% from the free throw line. As an interesting chant breaks out now from the Maize Rage. Not saying it's from an unbiased perspective, they're just chanting little brother. Everyone seems to be in agreement here. I, of course, am an unbiased reporter with no affiliation to anything. As Roddy Gale gets the ball for his first attempt. Bends the knees, he'll put that one up. That one is good to make it 10 points at 82-72. As some people have decided that's enough. As we see a couple of the older crowd head for the exits at this point. Most of the people still staying. Second attempt is up. That one falls 83-72 for an 11-point lead. And now we're going to see Will Cheddar check in for a little bit of a senior send-off, and as we mentioned, this Michigan faithful loves him. With 54 seconds left, Jeremy Fears with the ball. He'll move in and throw up a quick one. An alley-oop attempt by Carson Cooper, slammed down. 83-74, so they get back the 2 points pretty quickly. But while the alley-oop was very impressive, Ihan, getting 2 points and then making 2 on the other end for Michigan isn't really going to get you anywhere close to getting back into this one with 50 seconds left.
Yeah, as that stretch of play towards the end of the half, more or less sealed it for Michigan. Just again, this has been a very well-played basketball game. I think a lot of it amounted to miscues on State's end, a lot of unforced turnovers that gave Michigan some of those points that they needed to pad out this big, what is now this big lead. This game, assuming it ends with a double-digit deficit, definitely didn't feel like a game that was where the two teams were separated by more than 10 points. But Michigan really opened things up towards the end. And I think that's it exemplifies a lot of what we've seen from Michigan, where they've looked a lot like a second half team at a lot of points this year. And I know it's wild saying that of a team that has won so many games by 30 and 40 points this season, more than any other team in Big Ten history has. But you've seen Michigan with the propensity to make a lot of adjustments at halftime And I think it's reflecting today.
As they do a little cheering and booing section as they show different photos of Dusty May and Tom Izzo on the board. Again, for a lot of these people, it might be their last game in Chrysler. Regular season finale here for the men's team. Remains to be seen if the women's team will hold any March Madness games. But as of right now, it stands 50 seconds remaining in the Chrysler regular season for Michigan basketball, 83-74, with a lead over Sparty as we return to the floor and get ready to finish out this one. Michigan State with 1 timeout left, Michigan with 3. So definitely got something to play with. But again, if you're Michigan State, you need some defense and some pretty quick points. As right in front of us, we see President Grasso here with both Eric Veal, the Michigan student body president, and the Michigan State student body president. That's pretty funny. As the ball is inbounded and immediately fouled is going to be Trey McKinney, or Roddy Gale Jr., excuse me. And so he'll go to the line again with 48.3 remaining. Roddy Gale walking slowly to the line on this one. Again, 48.3 left in this one. All but over for the most part, unless Michigan State can string together both a lucky miss here on Roddy Gale's end and then just some quick threes. First one is up and good, 84-74 to push it back to 10. As Kohler will check back in for Michigan State, replacing Cam Ward. Gale gets the ball back for his second attempt. Bends the knees, he puts that one up off the front iron, no good. Jeremy Fears takes it up for the Spartans. Moving quickly now, he'll go in through the paint and do a shot from right in front of the basket. That'll fall for a 2-pointer, 84-76. For Elliott Cadeau to inbound it, and Michigan State undoubtedly to immediately foul. Amari Burnett out racing them, though. He's unable to. He'll hand it over to Will Cheddar on the left corner, and now Will Cheddar will be fouled finally after they let about 10 seconds run off the clock to leave 35.1 left on it.
Yeah, and I think Michigan State, by this point, there really isn't any option other than to foul. And I think that's why we've seen Michigan build up this lead a lot more than what you think it would have looked like. It's been a close game for most of it. I think where Michigan State really drove the dagger into themselves is just this loss of composure towards the end.
Yeah, there isn't any option but to foul, but A, you should probably be going for more than a 2-pointer, and B, you should foul without giving them 10 seconds to run it off the clock, as the first attempt is up and good for Cheddar. 85-76 the score now. Elliott Cadeau checks out of this game. Morris Johnson Jr. back into it after taking a quick break. Will Cheddar's second attempt up and good. 86-76 as the lead returns to 10. Jeremy Fears taking it up for the Spartans. Again, just runs right through the middle and is blocked away by Morris Johnson. Second chance opportunity is good of Jackson Kohler. But again, only 2 points for Michigan State, who needs a lot more. Now Tom Izzo is going to call a timeout with 29.1 in this 8-point contest at 86-78. So Vihan, the obvious question, you're down by 8 with 29 seconds left. What can you possibly be saying right now if you're Tom Izzo? Is it anything of value, not to be rude, or are you just being like, all right, guys, we tried our hardest, let's get out of here? What are you really doing? Knowing
what I know about Izzo's personality, I think there's a lot more expletives involved in whatever's happening right now than we're allowed to share on the broadcast. Michigan State have played a very good game of basketball, only to sort of fall on their own sword towards the end through just a string of turnovers and a string of needless contact that's just given Michigan more points than maybe they should have been able to take away from this.
Yeah, that's for sure. As Michigan exits the huddle, pretty much they really don't got anything to say. Dusty May is like, you guys have done a great job. You rallied back from your mistakes in the first half to really take control of this one in the second. And now the ball will be inbounded from the MSU baseline. Or from Michigan's own baseline, I should say, excuse me. They're about to run 4 verticals here as every single Michigan player is on the baseline. Lindenborg will get it. Now everyone just sprints forward. He has Morris Johnson Jr. wide open. Throws over to the right side. Caught by Roddy Gale and immediately fouled. As you could have put Bryce Underwood there and it would have been better. It's actually going to go on to Amari Burnett, not Roddy Gale. They're both covered by the hoop. Foul will go on Jordan Scott. That's his first of the game. as Namari Burnett will go to the line.
At the line, shooting 2 for the Wolverines, number 4, Namari Burnett.
Namari Burnett spins the ball way in front of him as it bounces back. He bends his knees for his first attempt. That one is up and good, 87-78. As again, kind of just filling out the official score sheet here at this point, Vihan, as this one is pretty much over. Burnett gets the ball for the second attempt, bends the knees, hits in a squat like he's a catcher on the softball team. And that one will fall. He's channeling his inner Lily Valleymont there on the Michigan softball team. At 28.1. Trey McKinney's going to check back into this one as Jeremy Fears takes it up once again for Michigan State. Hands it over to Kurt Tang, who takes an immediate shot. That one is completely airballed, but he's fouled on it by Will Cheddar. And so Kurt Tang will go to the line for 3 shots off the foul on Will Cheddar. Will Cheddar not going to leave this one in his Michigan legacy without committing a little foul action. Kurt Tang going to the line, shooting about 92% from the free throw line, so somewhat decent from the line, Vihan. Sophomore has gotten a lot more playing time here in this rotation here than he did last year. The first attempt is up, off the front end, back iron, then out, no good. So really nothing working for Spartans here in the last minute as the lead remains 10. Tang with the ball again. Bends his knees, puts that one up. That one is good, so he's 1 for 2 so far before the third attempt. Now 88-79, Michigan lead. Will Cheddar will exit the game as kind of a curtain call as everyone gives him a round of applause as he checks out for what is his more than likely his last time here at the Chrysler Center. Kurt Tang's third shot is up and good. He goes 2 for 3 on that one to make it 88-80 with 23.3 remaining. Roddy Gale now to inbound it from their own baseline. 23.3 remaining. Shot clock is off. As again, Michigan almost runs like a football style play. He's got to get rid of it. Now he finally has to call a timeout before a violation. And so Michigan will use another timeout here. We got 2 remaining with 23.3, but if you inbound this away from any Michigan State Spartan, you're probably just going to run out the clock here. Again, up by 8 with 23 seconds remaining, Vihan. While we wait for this final timeout, and again, just to kind of run out the clock for official scoring matters, what do you like from this Michigan team going into the Big Ten tournament? What do you think their strengths are? What do they got to work on? Other than, I'm going to challenge you, other than the obvious turnover issue.
I think other than the obvious turnover issue, I mentioned that Michigan's been more of a second half team this season, and I think the propensity to make adjustments is something that bodes well for the Wolverines. But at the same time, I would like to see Michigan come out of the gate a little bit more quicker. I think there's been a bunch of games like Purdue, like Ohio State, and like games like Iowa, like Minnesota, games that got a little bit closer than perhaps they needed to be, where the Wolverines maybe haven't played their best basketball in the first half. And I think, given the amount of talent on this Wolverines team, I would love to see the Wolverines just come guns blazing out of the gate rather than taking the entire game to make some of those adjustments, like the turnover problem, like avoiding foul trouble. I think the foul trouble is another thing to note, but I think it's also worth noting that when Michigan uses size as such a fundamental part of its game, teams are going to try and bait contact from the Wolverines.
I couldn't agree more. It's a great point. They love baiting contact because, for whatever reason, Michigan seems to fall into that bait very easily. But I like your point about getting off to a hot start. We see so many times where Michigan storms back in the second half when that all can just be avoided if they start in the first half. You know, funny how that works. As the ball is inbounded and Roddy Gale is fouled, so he will go to the line with 22.8. Roddy Gale shooting a lot of free throws here in the last couple of minutes. He's 5 for 6 on the day. So if you're Michigan State here, just playing on the other side, what do you got to fix heading into the Big Ten tournament if you want to make noise and potentially unseed Michigan to where you've lost both games against them in the regular season? What do you think they've seen they need to work on, not just against Michigan, but trying to make a case to be the Big Ten tournament champion? Because number 8 team in the country, it's definitely within possibility. Well,
I think State showed they can spread the ball around a bit today, more than usual. But I think for the most part, this team has suffered from maybe running too much of its game through Jeremy Fears. I think Cohen Carr, with just 6 points on the day, very likely the most disappointing player of of the night tonight. Definitely something the Spartans want to get involved more. I also think they want to just kind of avoid some of the foul trouble that really kind of befell them there. I think Fears' temper seems to be the biggest thing that the Spartans need to work on.
Couldn't agree more, as Michigan State is now going to just run this ball out. After Roddy Gale made both free throws, they're just going to kind of take a final second shot while the clock expires on this one. They're ready to head back to East Lansing, but that'll bring it to all zeros on the score clock. 90-80, the final score here as Michigan closes out the regular season with a win at Chrysler Center over in-state rival Michigan State, heading into the Big Ten tournament. What a game we saw at Vihan. Michigan didn't even score in the last 2.5 minutes from the field because they were shooting free throws. What a just dominant performance here in the second half after a little back and forth in the first. Truly established himself as the team to beat in the Big Ten heading into the tournament, and after that, potentially making noise in, of course, March Madness.
You know, so many superlatives have been used to describe this Michigan team all season, and you might think that's laying it on a little thick, but this is a team that has just finished off its regular season 29-2. Their only losses have come against a Wisconsin team shooting 90% and a very, very good Duke team by 5 points. You've beaten, I don't even have the exact number, they've beaten just a litany of ranked teams. They're Ken Palm's #1 offensive team. They're one of the best defensive teams in the country. This is one of the best regular season college basketball teams of all time. I don't think that's up for debate. I think as seniors, I think one thing I want to reflect on is just when you come to University of Michigan, you know that you have the opportunity to be a part of history, and to get to call this team multiple times this season is something that I'm very, very grateful for. It's a chance for me to stamp my own very niche spot in college basketball history, and that's something I'll be forever grateful for. And of course, our time as Michigan students, our time with this team is nowhere near done yet. I think it hasn't even started yet, as everything that this Michigan team has done in the regular season will be a moot point once the postseason begins later this week.
I couldn't agree more, Vihan, and echo what you say. Never lost on us that most professionals don't get to do this for their career, so very great opportunity we have here. As Michigan crowds the M in the middle as about ready to send their seniors off. Again, the final score here, 90-80. Michigan takes down Michigan State for the senior finale here from the Chrysler Center in Ann Arbor. Thank you again to Luca and James for doing the first half. I've been Zach Warshaw alongside Vihan Iswar for our senior send-off second half coverage. Until the Big Ten tournament and March Madness, we'll leave you as we always do with a good night and a go blue.